Hi, and welcome to Monday Night Toy Ramblings. And first off, hail to the victories. Man, let me tell you, I was not ready to go on. I didn't want to go on. I was convinced that that team was going to lose after they played a wonderful first half. And if you're not a football fan, which most of you probably aren't, I'm talking about the Michigan-Alabama game. So I'm just going to say this right now. Next week might be a toss-up. I might not even do the show because Michigan hasn't been to the national championship since 1998, or you may just see what it is to watch me watch a football game and not be able to pay attention to anything that's going on in the show. So anyway, all I gotta say is, all right. Anyway. When you get into sports, let me just say, when you get into sports and things look bad, you don't want to do anything. You just want to boom, I'm done. I'm under the damn show. I don't do nothing. But then they win in overtime, and you're just like, you know what? Let's do this. Everything feels really good. It's going to be a great day. None of you guys care about football. I get it. Anyway, all right. So anyway, today is going to be, well, there's some news that happened over the past 2 weeks. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas. Sorry, listen, I'm going to be all over the place for a while. I got the other game on, so I'll be able to see who they play. Matter of fact, if Washington wins, from what I understand, Ken said that his dad, I believe, went to Washington, so it could be a nice friendly rivalry there. So, all right. All right, so let's just get to this. Hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas. It's been 2 weeks. It felt kind of weird not being on here. Even on Christmas, I was over at my dad's house, and it just felt weird not sitting in this chair. And I know I heard Allison say the same thing, that it just seemed odd Monday night without me on there. And let's be honest, it's not like I haven't been on a ton of shows recently. I mean, I was on Mega J till like 4 a.m. I was on Oz's a couple times for hours. I was on Toy Kind of Mood last Wednesday. So it's not like you guys haven't been able to see me. It's not like you guys haven't been able to hear my thoughts and things, the different things that I'm thinking and what's going on with G.I. Joe and everything like that. So anyway, welcome back. Happy 2024. This is going to be one hell of a year. All right. And the topic today is just going to be expectations, predictions, and hopes. And some of them may kind of run across each other. But what I want to do is I want to write down some of the things that we talk about. And then at the end of the year, see if those things actually came to fruition. If I was crazy, if you guys were crazy, let's just see what's going to happen. The channel has been doing so good, so wonderfully. I surpassed what I thought I was going to do this year. I hit 3,400 subscribers before midnight yesterday, which was actually very surprising because I was way behind. But you put out a lot of content and people are going to subscribe. And that's what I keep saying. People do not subscribe on live streams. So let me just say right now, listen, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. All right. Hit that like. There's no reason not to hit the like because it doesn't cost you guys anything and it feels oh so good. But you know what? The chat's been going now for 5 minutes. It's great to see everyone here. I feel out of sorts. I missed like one show, and I feel completely out of sorts. So, if you've been watching the channel, and I'm sure you have been, you see that I dropped my top 10 videos. So I dropped the top 10 of my non-classified, and then I dropped my top 11 classified. And if you're wondering why we do a top 11 because you didn't watch it, well, that's just because a figure snuck in after I already had my list, and I just felt wrong removing anyone from the list because they were all just so damn good. But the top 10 list of non-classified. If you guys watch it, I want you guys to understand that it's figures that I got. I don't want to reach out and say, hey, this was this was a number one figure, this was a number two figure. If I don't have it in hand, it has to be figures that I have in hand. It just doesn't make any sense to say, this was the best figure or this was number 10 if I haven't even played with it, messed around with it, different things like that. So if you haven't watched those, go check them out. Hit that like, hit the subscribe. Again, all that good stuff. Listen, I'm on a high right now. I'm so excited. Michigan next week. And unlike some other people that I may have been on the show, I didn't start liking Michigan when Tom Brady started playing for my football team. I'm just going to throw that out there. Anyway, let's say hi to everyone that is in the chat right now. We got a blind robot. Now, I'm going to say I have never seen you here before, so thank you for showing up. We got Master Versal Toy Hunter, one of the channel members. Thank you very much. We got Ed, Action Figs. We got David R. Punk must be happy with Michigan game. Exciting finish. You know what? It's only exciting because they won. Listen, if you like sports, I'd rather it be a complete blowout either way than a nail biter. I absolutely hate the nail biters. It kills you inside. If I went and checked my blood pressure towards the end of that game, it would be through the roof. We got Liquid Identity, who is in look mode engaged. We got a Derek Holloman here. We got Shark Eye Toy Reviews. Views. Is this like your other channel? You're not a channel member. You keep donating, though. I can't imagine you wouldn't be one. Todd C is here. Happy New Year. Viper Scout. Hi, and Happy New Year to everyone. We got Fat Trid here. We got Nolan, who is in the house. Let's see here. We got Down South 77. We got Payne's Toy Samples. Listen, I'm going to say this right now. If you are in this chat and you're not following Payne right now, get over there and hit a subscribe to his channel. I'm surprised that he does not have more people subscribed. He does a wonderful job every Friday. Matthew, Ed, could one of you drop a link to Payne's channel there? So listen, if you're not, I'm not going to tell you to go to a channel if I don't think you're going to enjoy it. He does more than just toys. He actually talks to people. Wraith Mace is in the house. We got Ronnie Trickshot all the way from Australia. And let's see here. We have a Facebook user. And we have Ray Pass. Sorry, I missed you. Please don't start calling me out that I ignore you. Or I'm not saying you. We got Stinky Cat, but I don't remember seeing that ever. Is that new, guys? Is that a new one? It's an awesome video with Mr. Arcade. He must be talking to someone else. And let's see here. And then we got the main moderator, Matthew Matson. And we got Sabir is in the house. Kenzo's Creations. I believe this is the first time I've seen you on the channel. Now, I've been on live streams with you, so I know exactly who you are. So it is great to see you here. All right. That's what I want to see. I want to see guys here, especially people that I see on streams that I actually enjoy talking to. And then Carol's in the house. I love when Carol's here before Oz. It's there's something poetic about that. And Blue Monkey Toys, what's up? Happy New Year. And I think that's about it. So listen, again, this is how we get through so many. Eric Thurman. And then we got my 3D printer. Gregory, how are you doing? Happy New Year to you. And as I'm rolling through here, Wraith Mace, $2 super chat. No roll tide tonight, sir. Congrats, Wolverines. Thank you very much. Listen. As a Michigan fan, Michigan ran him out of town when he was at Michigan State. And he literally left because of that. And he even admitted to it. I am so sick and tired of the SEC, like so many other people. If you like football. If you don't like football, you don't know what I'm talking about. But yes, I was so glad. He's the greatest college coach of all time. I'm not going to try and deny that. I know there are 2 Alabama fans here, but he's the greatest college coach of all time. But he doesn't deserve to be there every single year, and they shouldn't have been there this year. Paul is in the house, and I think that's about it for right now. Oh, wait a minute. We got to say hi to Mr. Wonderful, who was supposed to call me about something for tomorrow, but I haven't heard anything from him, so I guess I probably won't be talking to him about that because I can't talk to him right now, that's for sure. Is there anyone else? What is this one? Hoth the Basher. Okay. All right. Oh, and then Eternia Eclipse. You're supposed to get back to me too about doing a show with you. So hit me up on my new Instagram. Please don't hit my old Instagram. Oh, hey, look, and Travis is calling me right now. Come on, dude. I know what you're doing, dude. I know what you're doing. Kenzo says, I just had to separate my sports fans with my toy fans. Too many of one don't like the other. Good to see fellow plastic addicts like sports. You know what? I feel the same way when I find toy collectors that are also punk rockers, and there's so many of them. I think there's probably more punk rock toy collectors than sports fans, because I'll tell you what, when we were at PowerCon and the 4 of us, myself, Aaron from Hella Dope, Ted from Hella Dope, and Travis, all went to like our dinner or went to the bar. Aaron and I were talking sports, and those other 2 had absolutely no clue what the hell we were talking about. So anyway, all right, 13 minutes into it. Also, I gotta say this for Kenzo's here. Listen, I don't know if you ever caught the stream. I don't know if you caught the stream before, but man, you think that I can talk a lot on Oz's? Wait till you sit here for 3+ hours and go, did this asshole really just go 3 hours without talking to anyone else other than himself? And yes, the answer would be I did. So anyway, since the last time I was on, I did drop 3 different classified reviews. Mutton Junkyard came in. That was a surprise. If you didn't watch the video, I always order from multiple places, and whoever ships it and I get it in hand first gets my money. Sometimes I get burnt. Well, BBTS got it. I told it to ship it out. I had to call Hasbro because they've already started shipping theirs, or they were ready to charge, which means they take away the option to delete it. You got to call them. So I call them up and I deleted it. I didn't get around to deleting my my Amazon order because it said the 16th. And then Gregory, my 3D printer, he hits me up and says, yeah, Mutton Junkyard just showed up today out of nowhere. And I say, mine still says the 16th. And I go and look and I go, oh, no, it's actually out for delivery. So unfortunately, I had already shipped my Mutton Junkyard from BBTS. So I couldn't cancel it, even get credit. So I got Amazon's. So now I have an extra Mutton Junkyard. But guess, hey, someone take a guess. Where do you think that BBTS order is sitting right now? I'm willing to bet someone will get it in the comments about where it's actually sitting after it shipped out. And I'll even give you a hint. It went DHL, right? DHL, is that it? So anyway, I got that. I got the so you say Ohio, but Ed got it right. Stowe, Ohio. Not just Ohio. It is Stowe, Ohio. Absolutely crazy. I swear. But you know what was funny is that I ordered something for my son that went out DHL. Nothing to do with toys. It was a wallet that he wanted. And it went out DHL, and guess where it got stuck? Stowe, Ohio. So maybe it's not just a resort for action figures like I thought, but I was hoping that the package was big enough that it would ship out actually FedEx. Either way, it doesn't matter. I'm going to have an extra one. I have some ideas of what I might do with it. We'll see. I also got Shadow Tracker, which oddly enough has no soft weapons. Everything is nice and hard and solid. Yes, that's what she said. Which makes no sense because this is coming out during the same time of these other figures. So, but that figure is way better than I thought it was going to be. I really don't have an attachment to it. It's part of the Pursuit of Cobra. And before anyone looks, yes, I said Rise of Cobra in the review. I actually pinned the comment. Oddly enough, no one has even corrected me. People love to correct on these different reviews. I absolutely love it. And then I got the wolf spider, which I know I talked about on some other live streams. And I have to say this, the wolf spider is a figure that should not be as good as it is. And it goes back to the grunt. Like, grunt should not have been as good as it was, but it was. And I gotta say, I think I'm gonna hold on to my next order. That's gonna come from Hasbro, because I don't know why I did this. It's coming over. Because it's really that good of a figure, and you can use him as an army builder, and he's got different looks. But yeah, so, and then the other thing that I got was the Delta 17, and I want to give a big shout out and a big thanks to Steve from Delta 17, and obviously Ken from Toy Connections. Ken had hit me up. I was on a stream with them before, and he got some figures, and he asked, or Steve told him, hey, you know what? Ask Punk if he would be interested in getting some of these. And just so you guys know, before anyone, nothing was given to me. I purchased everything, okay? So once again, completely purchased. I give honest reviews. And I haven't watched any of the other reviews. I've had numerous people calling me out because of certain things that I said, even though both Steve and Ken have said, no, that's fine. Like, you're being honest with it. They corrected me on a couple of things. They I don't say corrected me. They let me know on a couple of things. One thing that I wish I would have known that Ken didn't tell me, and it's no big deal. It's not like I'm calling Ken out. Is that they have two different size O-ring bucks. One is a 4-inch buck, which I think is awesome. I think having two different sizes is absolutely awesome. It's harder to do different sizes when it comes to a smaller figure. The bigger 6-inch figures, obviously you can. There are some companies that every single figure is the exact same height no matter what. Sorry, that's not the way the world really is. But yeah. Eric asks, let's see here, Grunt was better than Rock and Roll? I think so. A lot of it has to do with that he's dual purpose, like that you can army build him. But his weapons are better. He comes with two different weapons. So again, even if you're army building and you want to have Grunt as Grunt, but his plate carrier is just awesome. I love the way Rock and Roll looks, that he's updated and modern. But yeah, so I do actually think that it's better. And then Severe says, I got notice from Hasbro Pulse that Mutton Junkyard pre-order will be shipping soon. In my case, it's a little over a week early since it was 115 estimated street date. Was that what it was? Yeah, I know Amazon was the 16th. You know, it's so messed up. But we knew that they were in here. Like, we knew that they were in the U.S. They were reported that they were in the U.S. They were in the U.S. when the HISS thing started hitting. So, you know, it's cool. I mean, I'd like them spaced out a little bit more, but yeah. Anyway. So back to Delta 17. It is an O-ring line. And again, I've taken some flack from some people. And for the most part, most of the people said, most people, they liked the review that I did, that I was honest with it. You know, I had a few complaints on it, but nothing that would keep me from wanting to buy more, or that I will buy more. But there were a few things, and again, people tried calling me out saying, hey, you know what, that buck is too big for that, that vehicle anyway. But the issue was the way they sit in an L form. And If they're not sitting in L form, I don't care what type of vehicle it is, that does present a problem when trying to sit down. Whether or not I'm trying to sit them on my desk with their feet hanging over it, it's going to cause a problem. And they didn't seem to have a problem with it, the owners, yet other people seem to really have an issue with me. But there's a few things that I'm going to discuss when I get to that. When I get to that in the news, and one has to do with the price and everything. And I think I'm going to do a video, an actual video during this month, explaining why smaller companies have to charge more, and also why a $3 figure is not $3 anymore. You know, when something was $3 back in 85, 86, why it's not $3 anymore. I feel like I shouldn't have to. I feel like we're all adults and we should understand the way the world works, and that cost has gone up. Also, how much we make per hour has gone up. Yeah. So, isn't Delta 17? I don't know. I don't. You tell me. Is it? It might be, but I mean, there's lots of weeds. You know, isn't Ohio State a nut? I mean, isn't a Buckeye some sort of nut? I don't know. All right. And then as we go into the new year, I just want to say thank you to all the channel members. Thank you to all the super chats that I've gotten throughout the year. All the links that people use. Again, I've seen more and more people using the Entertainment Earth link. That I definitely do appreciate. This month, even though there's been a lot of sales, you guys, this was the best month that I did from, at Entertainment Earth. Amazon, again, if you order anything on Amazon, please click the link and then go from there. It just helps support the channel. Impossible Pie, I got to say it right there. Look at this. Look at this. Big win tonight. Go Blue. Hell yeah. Believe me, I didn't even want to be here. Now, there's 64 people watching. Then we should have about 64 likes, right? I'm doing simple math. I do want to say, if you are new to the channel, understand I'm not always able to read everything in the channel. I'm not ignoring anyone. If someone is being ignored because they're an a-hole, they're getting booted. So you don't even have to worry about it. Come on, everybody. Come on. Come here. Here, you can be on the screen the whole time. All right. I moved my little those are Storm Shadow's hands. They're not food, idiot. Here we go. Look at this. Got a co-host now. All right. Think he'll bug me now that he's sitting right by me? Anyway. All right. So let's just get into everything. And first thing I want to talk about is this Thursday, I will have Ted Darkclaw from Hella Dope Toys. And let's just be honest, if Ted is going to be on, right? Well, it's Hella Dope Toys. You guys should have a chance to watch it.
Oh, hey guys, what's going on?
Mossman, what are you doing back here?
Oh, you see, so Skeletor, he had to go to the grocery store. He had to go buy more barbecue Pringle chips. And so he's put me in charge here for a little bit. In charge of y'all. He said, man, Mossman, I have to go to the grocery store, so I need to put you in charge of Snake Mountain.
Yes, that's Skeletor. That's Skeletor. Right.
Skeletor said since I was in charge, I could use the credit card and maybe go online and buy some action figures for myself.
Oh, some action figures sound kind of nice.
Yes. Maybe we can go to Big Pet.
Yeah, Beastman, we don't say that around here. We go to helldopetoys.com. They have the best prices in town, and they ship everything in one business day. One business day, Beastman. That means I buy it, and it comes to my house super fast, and they pack it all real nice. So when I go to do my YouTube reviews for my 5 subscribers, I'll be like, oh, look at this minty fresh packaged box that I got from helldopetoys.com. So what are we waiting for, y'all? Let's go get that credit card and head on over to hellodopetoys.com right now before they run out of all the good stuff.
All right, so this Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Ted from Hella Dope Toys will be on with me. And I saw Ray Paz say, oh my God, time for a new commercial. He's already discussed it, but here's what I'm going to say. Be here this Thursday, and you guys tell him, hey, you know what? We need a second commercial. Because let's be honest, listen, I'm asking someone to do something. It's also for them also. Let's be honest. If I need to run to the restroom, I have something that I can play, and you guys don't have to look at dead air. But hey, you know what? Chime in. Let him know. Dave C. straight from the pit says 10 ships and a USS flag. Christmas 85, Data Sailor. Now, if you're talking about my story, or did you also have that story? I only had 8 shipwrecks, but I had one. So, but it's okay if you had that, or if you're mentioning mine. You know, it's all good. Say hi to Ryan Sweeney. What's up, all you amazing people? Hope you had a great new year. Go Blue. Hey, Ryan, I was already saying next Monday is going to be hard as hell for me to do a show, because if I do a show, and there's a chance I may not, but let's be honest, I probably will. You guys know how bad I am. I'm going to have it on there. And if it's a nail biter, you're gonna realize how much I don't focus on things. I might just have to Matthew Matson just chime in and just hit the button to scroll through. You may just watch me do absolutely nothing. So anyway, yeah. So this Thursday, Ted from Hella Dope Toys. I think that one's gonna be fun. I'm also gonna be on their show the first week that they come back. So I want to say like look here. The first Sunday. So I don't think they come back to the 14th. I think maybe the first guest. They may come back this week, but I think I'm the first guest. So I think it's on the 14th. I should probably have him confirm that. Not that it matters. I'm not going to be anywhere, right? So anyway. All right. So let's get into it. So just a little bit of Motu news, not very much. So nobody leave yet. There's actually only one image that I have. So don't leave. I know everyone likes to dump off. There's 64 people. It usually drops right down to 44. But it looks like you're getting a King Keldor in a Masterverse form. So the 7-inch form. Now, he looks nothing like I've seen that I have, but he does have a sweet ass white mohawk. So maybe he's a little punk rock there. Oh my God. You know what, Matthew? Goodbye. It jumped up to 69. That's right. We got 5 more people when I said, let's talk Motu. Fortunately, I only have 1. Dave said, haha, I was close. I remember you told me once the story about that. Loved it, Yojo man. Hey, you know what? Listen, it's it's obviously become the running joke where I talk about having my USS flag, that I still have it, that I was the one kid that had it. Now it's just taking on a life of its own, but it's fun. So anyway, this just kind of popped up. To be honest, I am. I completely forgot about doing the show until late last night. And I was like, oh shit. And then I was on the stream with Oz till like 3 in the morning. So I had a lot of things. I had a lot of time off the past 2 weeks, and I had a lot of plans to do shit, and I didn't do nothing. I think that's the best way to put it. Do nothing. McFarlane, again, don't leave anyone. Only 1 slide, if I remember correctly, and he is hinting at, he said, Batman versus Superman. So I didn't even realize he hadn't done this yet. Hey Ryan, I said it was only 1 slide. Now, don't get me wrong, I could talk for half hour on 1 slide, as we all know. So listen, no one's going anywhere because now we're just watching Texas versus Washington to see exactly who Michigan is going to play for the national championship. And that's right, I will have my khakis on. I'll even have a blue polo shirt on that night. Who knows? All right. So I didn't even realize that we didn't have a Batman versus Superman, but this is what I believe Toy Arc said that it was hinting at. So if you are like, hey, you know what, I need another Batman. If I need, I was like, you know what, McFarlane hasn't done in a while, a Batman. Don't worry, he's gonna get you. He's gonna make sure that you have a new Batman for 2024. I love that Blue Monkey. Classified is killing my wallet now. I can't afford to follow any other lines. You know what? It is very difficult. I'm not gonna lie. And for me, listen, I'm monetized. I am making money, not a lot, but I am making enough money that it helps offset a lot of the costs. So for me, I can say thank you. It's definitely helping out. I'm hoping that when it comes to Monster Force, because that's the other line that I definitely am looking to get into, that I will hit the algorithm running. The Delta 17 video did way more than I thought that it was going to do. Really didn't expect it to do that. So Classified always seems to do very well for me. So I see what a lot of people are buying, and I am blown away by how much people are investing in toys. Just, it's crazy. So anyway, and yep, Hob the Basher says, finally a Batman figure. Listen, we have all been asking McFarlane for what, 4 or 5 years, like, hey, are you gonna give us a Batman figure? And I was like, listen, female figures, they sell, but Batman, they just sit on the shelves. I cannot do a full wave of Batman. All right, I can't do a full wave of Batman. So maybe this will come in. Just so everyone, before anyone says anything, McFarlane did not say female figures didn't work. All he said was he couldn't do a full wave of them. Everyone kind of didn't listen to what he was saying. Anyway, on to the next. Mafex dropped some stuff here. Before we get to that, let's just kind of read the chat quickly. Largo says, hey, everyone, I really need 20 new Batman figures this year. 20? You think you're only going to get 20 Batman figures in 1 year? Yeah, that's me too. Classified alone is wearing me out entirely with the rate they're released. Things early, the rate they're releasing things earlier, getting HasLabs after they came in, ended ages ago. It's hard to get into others. No, I agree. Like it's, and I've had to cut back on stuff. And luckily for me, Origins it didn't come to an end. They are still doing stuff, but most of the stuff that they are going to be putting out is not stuff that I'm really interested in. So yeah, but I fully get it. Yeah, the cell shading sucks. It sucks when Marvel does it. It sucks when McFarlane does it. I don't get it. It makes sense in a cartoon, but it does not really make sense in an action figure. Payne says, well, in fairness to Toddy Mack, we haven't had a Batman in 2.5 seconds. He has cut back on the Batman. He went really heavy with Superman for a while. Okay, so Dave C says, I did get the flag. Christmas 85 also. Best Christmas ever. Great to see you with this channel now and doing well. Hey, the channel is doing absolutely wonderful. And again, I've said before, if you're happy with the channel, I appreciate all the thanks, but Matthew deserves so much of the thanks because he has helped me out along the way, along with many, many other people. And down south, yeah, 20 this quarter. We'll probably get 20 Batman this quarter. We might get 20 this month. I mean, it is a new year, all right? All right. And Matthew's already getting into the next stuff that's coming out. You know, so 1,000 Wolves, okay, you are absolutely correct. But it just, I don't feel like we get as many Wolverines. Maybe they just get hidden, or maybe it's because we can actually find McFarlane on the pegs, and that's the reason why we think there's so many Batman. But as many Wolverines that we get, as many Snake Eyes as we have gotten, man, they still pale in comparison to what Uncle Todd gives us in Batman. So, all right, back to Mafex. And they dropped a Scarecrow and Black Panther. I think both of them look absolutely amazing. Now, this is Hush Batman. Matthew is already pointing out some issues that they give him less accessories for about $115 price point. Now, he's probably going to tell me you can get cheaper somewhere else, but that's what they say the retail is. But we'll start with Black Panther. Now, this is $140, and I would assume that it's this price because it does come with his throne, which does look pretty cool. I don't know if it glows or anything. It should probably light up. I mean, it is, I would assume, made out of vibranium, and everything vibranium other than Captain America's shield seems to glow. And now, I'm not a big fan of toe articulation. I'm kind of looking at this right now. His feet actually look kind of weird and look kind of long, but maybe it's just the angle of this. But the face sculpt looks absolutely amazing. Might have been cool if they gave him a casket to go with it. Yeah, I just went there. I did just go there. But this looks pretty good. If you need a Black Panther that's not a Marvel Legends, and want to say hi to JLS Comments. What's up, everyone? JLS, I do want to have you on Thursday with a friend, and I saw you just followed me, so now once I message you, you'll be able to read it. So I'll send you a message this week about figuring out a date because I'm already going into February. And let's say hi to Tony's Figs with the $20 super chat. Thank you very much. More for the soundboard. Fun, brother. Happy New Year and much love to Roman. Chilling in the background. Yeah, I thought it was time to bring over something. I need to get a better something for him. Maybe it'll keep him a little bit calmer. Although I didn't think he'd face ass towards the camera. I thought he'd at least face forward. But again, thank you for the super chat. It is greatly appreciated. A way to kick off the first show of the year. Last month was absolutely awesome for me. So, and yep, you said sounds good, awesome. So, anyway, back to Black Panther. I do think this looks really good. Got to show that Panther butt. Yeah, oddly enough, here I am showing Black Panther's ass, and Roman is showing you his ass. I will say this: the diaper looks. I don't know. There's some things that I just. The face sculpt is awesome. We'll leave it at that. So I think the face looks awesome. I mean, it's hard to be better than that. I mean, I think the hair could be a little bit. I mean, I think we've seen a little bit better with Valaverse and even some of the Classified. But I feel like you can make it look like it has some texture. Maybe Ed could put some actual flocking on here. But this does look good. He only comes with, well, I mean, he does come with the big throne. Comes with, I think, 3 different heads. If you can tell me the difference between the 2 mastheads, great. They look the same to me. It's like giving Darth Vader multiple masks and if one isn't like smashed, they're gonna look the damn same. He comes with these two little accessories. So, but he does come with the big throne. So I'm assuming that's the reason why he's at a $140 price point, which I think is pretty high. But all right. And also, JLS, thanks, Ray. It was fun. Hey, I looked for a Shadow Tracker video to find out who Shadow Tracker was, and I couldn't seem to find one. So did you not do one? Because I would have loved to catch up on him. And I want to say hi to Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Love the Marvel Sentinel Black Panther. All right. And then next we'll get into the Scarecrow. And I have to say, this looks absolutely awesome. Matthew, I can understand your frustration for $115 and for the lack of accessories. But this face, I mean, this looks absolutely awesome. So you just look at this and you can see how the mask, how it's all tied together over the mouth. I think it looks absolutely awesome. Very impressed with this. And again, like, I think with some of the stuff I see with the Mafex, it's awesome. And I haven't picked up any of the Batman Hush stuff, but every single one that I have seen, and I know that Nightwing has been on so many people's top 10 lists and hovering usually in the top 5, that, you know, they did something right with that figure, that's for sure. The Unmasked, I think it looks good, but if I have Scarecrow, unless you're doing like toy photography, I think you're going to have him with the mask on. But the long fingers look amazing. He doesn't have a voluptuous behind, not like Dick Grayson. And let me tell you something. If you ever watch Teen Titans, you know the whole booty thing with Dick Grayson is Robin. But yeah, I do think this looks awesome. Not something that I will be purchasing, but yeah. And you look at those face sculpts, and those look absolutely awesome. And you can even tell the difference in the two masks. You know, one, he has a wider face, eyes are a little bit bigger. Everything else seems to be the same. So, hold on. Yes, Nostos. Yeah, he you know, they should have given him like a Matthew, they should have given him the stuff that Ricky had in Better Off Dead, the nasal spray with this big nose. Like, this would have been awesome for him. All right. God damn, we went through this pretty damn quickly. All right, so Hiya dropped. Oh, you know what? This ain't the G.I. Joe Hiya. Okay, so Hiya dropped another Star Trek figure. Now this is a 6-inch figure. Chris Pine, Captain Kirk. I think this thing does look really good. Before I go any further, let me quickly say hi to Allison. Again, one of the best channel members that I've had. She's also been someone that's been very supportive of me. So I definitely like to, it's not just the channel members that I want to highlight, but everyone. I mean, the channel has grown, but again, I try and do my best to make sure everyone is equally represented, although some people think I ignore them. And JLS says, yeah, I haven't done one on the Shadow Tracker, just mentioned him in a couple. Yeah, I was looking because I really know nothing about Shadow Tracker. And I even had some people mention, like, he looks like the Predator. I'm like, I think he's supposed to. But yeah. Casual Toy Collectors, he does have a huge snout. He does, man. He could, I mean, I think he would give Torpedo a nice little run for his money, because that guy's got a big old monster nose right there. So anyway, I think this Chris Pine looks really good. Now, until I actually get a Hiya 6-inch figure in hand, I can't talk about the how good the quality is. The soft goods look really good on it. Now, if that's soft goods or if that is actual like a rubber, now I think you could easily get away with doing a rubber outline, like an overlay, like they do with Jada Toys does, because those are so soft that they move and they bend and they look they look more like fabric than a lot of, the plastic overlays. So that may just be what this is. But here he is eating an apple. And I do remember this part, but I can't remember when the part was. Well, I agree with you, but it doesn't mean you can't like Star Trek 2. You do know you can like both, right? Anyway. Kenzo says he looks like he has a flak jacket on. I don't know, because if you remember the J.J. Abrams, the Kelvin timeline, their outfits, they had a texture to them. They weren't just smooth like the original. But I mean, I can see what you're saying, but just the way that it breaks up and everything. And again, if they're using something like Jada Toy does, I think it's really good, to be honest. I think the face sculpt's pretty good. The phaser looks a little big. I don't remember if they had bigger phasers. So, Russell says Star Wars has spaceships and the Force. Yes, it is. Yes, it does. Anyway, back to Captain Kirk. Not the real Captain Kirk, but the fake Captain Kirk. Although I do like this iteration of Star Trek. I wonder if we'll ever see any more of it. But I am really interested to see if this is actual soft goods, because we know the Rambo has a lot of soft goods. I don't even know how I pronounce those words, because it was not a proper words of anything that I've ever pronounced. Okay. I think I'm going to have to watch this movie, because I'm hearing either it's really good or it's bad. And Matthew will tell me that it's awful. I think Fatrid said that it's pretty good. So now I'm feeling like I have to go watch it. Anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's got to be soft goods, because you can see the way that it moves around the arms and everything. So, but the Rambo is soft goods. So, anyway, we'll see. Maybe when maybe a local shop gets a Hiya 6-inch figure, if anyone does, maybe I'll pick one up. Rambo, I was gonna get, and then his face just looked like Al Pacino, every single one of them. And I was just like, okay, that just doesn't look right. So here's everything that he does come with. 3 different heads, multiple hands. It looks like they're doing the same thing with their hands as Mezco does, where the hand doesn't have a peg. It's a small little peg that comes out of the wrist. But he comes with everything that you would assume a Star Trek figure would, and an apple. So... so 78 says couldn't finish. So is Rebel Moon? So I'm gonna say, is Rebel Moon this bad? And I guarantee you, I will get a text or an Instagram message from Matthew telling me, "Don't bother, don't watch it. It's awful." So Ed says it's soft goods. It's Hiya 112 overlays on Hiya. Okay, all right. So that's good to know. And I think Hiya does a really good job, at least from what I've seen. What they've shown, their soft or their plastic overlays are doing really nice. All right. So Delta 17, I'm going to get into this a little bit. So this is my review. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it. Give it a like and a thumbs up. It's done wonderful. I'm going to remove this really quick. I'm going to talk about this for a little bit. So I'm absolutely blown away by the response that I've gotten to Delta 17, not from Ken and from Steve, but from the amount of people that have watched it. The only reviewer that's actually gotten more views than I did was Hooded Cobra Commander, who is really one of the biggest O-ring collectors. But I was actually shocked, because some bigger channels did get it, and I just got 3 figures. But I went through everything. I did everything in my, in my GI Joe room because I really didn't want to. There's no reason to haul everything up here when I could just go down there and do it. I know Matthew had mentioned that the lighting wasn't the greatest, and I do apologize. It wasn't done the best that I had wanted it to be honest. And I kind of realized this. I kind of realized this after, but I really wanted to be where I could just grab a couple different vehicles. I could grab the O-rings. I was able to grab the last iteration of the Hasbro O-ring, so you could see what the difference was. Again, I didn't realize that one was on an 8-inch buck. I didn't realize one was on the 8-inch buck, but I just wanted to be there. So, and quickly, it always seems like a good idea, but there's so much stuff going on in the background in my room that I always wonder. And it always looks different when you're filming it. A lot of times I'll look at things when I'm done. I'm like, okay, all that stuff in the background. I'm seeing what I want to focus on in the actual video. So, but I looked at a couple things. There were a couple issues that I had with the seams, and I talked about that. They did say that the one it was they didn't have it on a lot of the other figures, so maybe it was just an issue when it was produced. I'm not positive. The other issue was the leg going about 90 degrees, and the legs really didn't go, and it's just something that to have them sit down properly, it's something that you really need. Now, a few people had an issue saying that, you didn't pay attention to other people's videos when they talked about it, and I didn't. I did not know that there was a 4-inch buck for Preacher, but it still doesn't change the fact that they didn't sit properly. And Steve has already said that, yes, they have vehicles in mind that they want to do. And to me, there's still going to be an issue if you do other vehicles that some of these figures won't fit unless they make changes. Both guys, as I mentioned, both Steve and Ken said they had no problem with me. I was very honest about it. I'm not going to attack someone. And that's really what Ken wanted. Ken wanted an honest opinion. And that's what I feel like I gave them. And that's exactly what they said. And I'm trying to read the comments, and it's like, oh my God, it's all Rebel Moon. It's all Rebel Moon content. I'm sorry. Did I say an 8-inch buck? I'm sorry, a 4-inch buck, 1/18 scale. So some figures aren't 3.75. So I quickly want to address what I finally got done. I think I replied to 2 or 3, and I'm like, I can't keep responding to this. And I also sent a message over to Ken. I go, listen, sometimes you take things very personally. I know you do. You're a good guy. We're all different in life, Do not take any of these comments personally that people are leaving, because people have really gone at them about the $25 price point. And I feel like when people see an O-ring for $25 from an independent company, we're not talking about Hasbro. We're not talking about something that Mattel would push out. We're not even talking about something that Super 7 would do, who I believe is a bigger independent company than most people would want to, bigger than they want to admit that they are. Well, one of the issues is they're not going with cheap quality. One thing that Steve said is he wanted to have that shiny look to it, just like an O-ring. You're not going to be able to come back with that exact same style. Things would break. They do have PVC hands, and the wrists do move, which helps you to pose better. I can actually grab the actual guns. But people were saying, this thing should be $10. Well, I don't know what world you're living in. I feel like I have to address this numerous times. But we don't live in a world where I don't want to hear shit about how, back in the 80s, a figure like this was $3. Man, we're not in the 80s anymore. All right, we are 40 years away from when those first Joes dropped. So anyone that thinks that, listen, you got to back off, man. You got to look at economy and see how things are actually made. When you're a smaller company, when you're a smaller company, the quantity that you're buying is not close to the same as what Hasbro is going to do, right? It's not the same as what Hasbro is going or Mattel is going to do. And when people act like they don't understand this, there's a reason why people spend $50 to $100 on a membership at Costco and Sam's Club or where I'm at, BJ's, because they're buying in bulk so they can get a better price. It's no different in the toys. And I've mentioned this before. When Bobby Valla talks actual industry and working on stuff, and he's not out blasting other designers, he's a wonderful listen. He is so educated, and he will educate people. And he's talked about, listen, when I did my figures, I had to do them at $32, right? Because of the price point, because of how many I was making. Now that he's making more, and yes, he changed the box, and he even said that card is going to be able to bring down the price a little bit. But now that he's ordering a higher quantity of figures, he's able to bring down the figures to $30. And when I hear people, and again, it's just, this thing should be, $10. Oh, this thing's a ripoff. Someone even said, you know what? When I can go buy a Final Faction figure for $1.25, I'll just buy those instead. Like, I'm sorry. First off, one is a 5 POA, and I've had a Final Faction. And as cool as the Final Faction is for grandma to buy a few of them for their grandsons when they come over so they have something to play with, they're not good toys, all right? They're acceptable toys for grandma's house, so they stay there and you don't need to worry about it. The other thing is, these are not a Kickstarter. They're not a crowdfunder. Steve got an investor. It took him years. He talked about it. It took him years to get an investor. And these figures are shipped to Steve's house right now. And once he can figure out exactly how he's going to ship them out to the U.S. because they're out of Canada, the cheapest way, he's going to get in on it. He's going to start shipping them out. That's why he hasn't gone live yet. So, again, I'm probably going to do a video. I want to talk to probably Steve and Ken and maybe a few other people about why there's a difference, why independent companies such as Mythic Legions is going to charge you $55 for less, articulation, why a Mezco is going to charge you $100 for a figure. We won't even get into the fact that we wait 2 years to get the figures. But independent companies who are making a lower quantity, you're not getting the same price breaks. And I feel like most of the people, at least watching here, understand this. But it's unfortunate that these are the comments that I'm seeing on that review. Now, I've heard people, hey, it's an O-ring. I don't collect O-ring, but it looks great. Cool. Like that's all you need to say. Or if you're saying, hey, I don't understand why they're $25. Shouldn't they be a little bit cheaper? If you're asking that question rather than questioning it, that's understandable. But there's too many questions. There are too many people making that comment. And I can only imagine on the other, because Ken's really been watching all these reviews and seeing how they're doing, because they did a wonderful job of just pushing it all out. One day, this is when they were doing it. Everyone can do the review on the 29th. Happy birthday to me. So that was my birthday present to me. Was I got to drop a video that did unexpectedly very well in this community. So anyway, that's enough about that. I'm going to look at the figures that I got. Again, this is how I go for 3 hours. Is Kenzo still here, or have you already said, I'm out of here? I really did like Kenzo, man. I like Kenzo, man. I want to do a sports. I think we did do a sports live stream with some people. Anyway, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. At least Mezco is good at spacing figures release dates out, unlike Hasbro, where they drop everything in a 2-month span. Well, you know what? How much did you spend on Mezco G.I. Joe last year? About $500? right? In one year. And when will we get those figures? I mean, they said late 2023, Snake Eyes was supposed to come. Late 2023, Storm Shadow. Have you heard anything? Because I haven't. A matter of fact, I'm still waiting for them to add my points for the roadblock that I bought. And again, I sent them a message and they said, hey, what figure are you wondering about? And I said, I'm not really wondering. I'm wondering how long it takes. And that was like last month. Well over last month. And haven't heard a peep from them. So, all right. But now let's take a look at it. Delta 17, the new face of O-rings. I'm sorry. It should be the new face of O-rings. Not a statement, a question. So I specifically picked these figures out for, it was before Christmas. I only had so much money. I wanted to get one female because Steve said that the female bucks are different. I did not break them down and take them apart. I should have. But when it runs 45 minutes, unfortunately. So the female buck is a little bit different. He said that's the only one that you really cannot interchange old G.I. Joe parts. And the G.I. Joe parts we're talking about are the ones that have either the neck that turns down, has the ball peg. Because the female here, he wanted to make a slimmer body. I got Preacher, because he comes with two rifles, one's a sniper. I really wish I would have realized he was on a bigger buck because I would have expressed that. I would have highlighted that. And then Leonidas, he has the German Shepherd. It is a puppy at this point, and it's not even named yet. And he does come with one weapon, dog bowl, which I think is actually really cool. So let's see here. I want to. War chest full of toys. Individuals expressing negative comments or simply complaining about the O-ring likely have no intention of purchasing them in the first place. These figures are not designed with those individuals. Yes and no. I mean, listen, I can still question something that I might not be buying, right? As a consumer, who knows? But with that said, it's when you just come down with negative comments that you're not helping to educate anyone or educate yourself. That's where, I question that. While constructive criticism is always welcome, if you have no intention of making a purchase, it's best to refrain from commenting and allow those who are interested in the product to voice. See, I'm going to disagree with you there. Like I don't have to feel that I'm going to purchase, a Ford Explorer to say, hey, they have issues with the tires blowing up, right? Like that's an issue. So you can have constructive criticism on something you're not going to buy, because you may see something because you're not going to buy it that you may educate someone or even the owner or the designers or whatever, that's something they may have completely missed. So yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I understand what you're saying, but it's one thing if you just come in and you start blasting, like, these are $25. Why would I do that? I can buy classified for that much. Yeah, like you're not helping anything out. But if you're looking at this and you're wondering, like, hey, you know what? This is not something that I would buy, but I'm really interested in, seeing how they're made and everything. Yeah, it's completely different. Quickly, let's head to Sergeant Reds. If you have not watched their show on, what the hell is it called? A toy store near you on Amazon. It premiered on Christmas Eve, so they are on this season on Amazon Prime. So check it out. Also, Sarge, I'm going to talk to you about this because I want you to reach out to this guy and talk to them about possibly getting some of these in store for you. All right. So I'll season 6, episode 2. Really, that many seasons? But yeah. So anyway, So here I have just, this is the new Cobra Commander. It's on the flight deck of my aircraft carrier. And you can see everything in the background. So here's the three figures. They all come with stands. And as you can see, the stands are square. Now, I'm not really sure how I feel about the stands. If you have the figure a little bit too far over, they do tend to want to fall that way. I would have liked to peg maybe a little bit more over. Now, the one thing that I did notice is that when I took an actual O-ring vintage one and I went to go put it on there, they just slid right down. Like there was actually no tension. They were actually kind of wobbly. And I actually mentioned this to Steve. He's the designer and the owner. And I actually like that because a lot of people don't realize in your O-rings, your vintage O-rings, if you push down, you will pop off the back of that that heel. You'll just snap that thing right out. So the stands are a little bit different now because of their make. You can use you can use any of the other stands for theirs. They will, because they use a PVC. It'll stretch, and you won't have any problems. So here I kind of put these two together. Now, if you do remember, Lil Light always had a big head, as cool as he was. Now, these are both snipers. That's kind of why I paired them together. You can see how glossy he is, and that is the look that he was going for. He said if he couldn't have got this glossiness, which we remember on a lot of the Joes, he said he would not have wanted to do it. Random diorama. I said it right. I almost got it wrong. Wasn't Larry in chat? Is that a wooden tile drop ceiling? Oh, yeah. So this was the sex room. Now, I installed the lights here, just so you know. I actually cut around and I installed these lights, but it is missing two tiles because it had these fluorescent lights in it, but they were so big and heavy, whoever installed them could barely fit them in there, and they were actually sagging down, and I've just never replaced it because the only thing I do is go in there and look at G.I. Joe. But yes, they are, and to top it off, oh my God, they are nailed, like they are stapled in from the other side somehow. So when you push it up, the whole track here that holds it in pushed up. I had to push them all up and then cut them all. I'm not going to get in. I can do a whole stream on that room. All right. Bring my ex on and we can do a whole talk about that. This whole house when we bought it and the stupid shit. Anyway. So I put these two together in the shots just so you can kind of see how two snipers sit side by side. His backpack, he does hold both weapons. So he has an M4 of some sort, and then he has the big sniper. Again, the sniper is going to be hard you can't really hold it with two hands just because they're smaller figures. Again, you can only pose so much. Dude, are you guys still talking about like Rebel Moon? Holy shit. Listen, that is truly, this may be the longest side story that I've ever had going on in the chat. Hopefully there's nothing else going on and my moderator doesn't notice. Anyway. And if you're wondering, yes, that is all brick behind it, random. So that is all brick behind it. This is a tiled brick bar. I'm sorry, a brick and glass block bar. So if I ever wanted to try and get rid of this monstrosity that's in my basement, it would be like a whole demolition. I'm not sure. Not very big. It's much smaller than my bedroom. I will. What I will do is I'll measure it out and I'll tell you like next week on the chat. Just remind me. It's not very big. If you go and look at if you go watch my video, you'll see exactly how small it is. So it's not a very large room. That aircraft carrier just boom sits right in the middle. It just takes up everything. So do you want to talk about Home Improvement, the the TV show, or actual Home Improvement? Who wants to go over to Home Improvement for me? Rob Vegas says, "Hey, I'm Punk with Toys. I will let you know if we can grab the Delta dudes here in Australia. They look like great figures." You know what? I again, if you like O-ring, I think you owe it to yourself to pick up a couple, because you're an O-ring. I mean, if you're an O-ring collector, and just see how you like them. I say that about most of the stuff. You know, if you're looking in a decent, you know, a decent price point, you know, why wouldn't you just pick something up, see how it is? So here you can kind of see how the sniper is. It's a very large rifle. This is Leonidas. Now, obviously the dog. Now the dog is removable. I had no problem putting it on top. It is a German Shepherd, and he's still a puppy. So Ken and them said they haven't even named him yet. Ken and Steve. I'm just saying, I threw out there, hey, you know what? Roman is an awesome name for a dog. I thought Leonidas was very interesting because he's bulky, but he's wearing shorts. And we've seen other shows where operators or SWAT where they're in shorts because they're just called into action right away. So I did find this figure very interesting. I think they did a good job with the tattoos and everything. This is by far my favorite figure. And I kind of threw him with the law enforcement because of the dog. And so this is the bowl that actually plugs into the back. But unfortunately, the puppy can't really drink out of it, but this Joe dog can. And I thought it actually fit perfect. So I was very interesting. War chest full of toys. Get that guy some sunblock. You know, this is funny because my stepdaughter, she's very pale, and that was the running joke. My ex would always, when she was younger, tell me and my ex's dad, before you let her go out there, you know, you got to put some, you know, sunscreen on her. She burns really easily, and it's so funny because we had this running joke about bathing, like just get the bathtub all ready and she can jump in there and then lather her down. And she gets so pissed off about it. I actually get so pissed off. And luckily, it was her dad doing it too. But of course, you know exactly who would take the brunt of it. Like, she'd yell at me about it. It's like, your dad said it too. You know? Rachel, nice to see you here. Tiger Force Alpine wears shorts. Does he? How does Tiger Force Alpine wear shorts? Or did they just, I didn't have Tiger Force. Like, I had nothing to do. Yes, he does. Eric, he doesn't miss any days, man. Look at this guy. This guy is built, dude. Like, this guy. But I like the whole dog aspect of everything. Hey, speaking of dogs, stop licking your paws. Hey, Alpine didn't have shorts, did he? What am I missing here? All right, listen. I'm see now when the show's done, I'm gonna go downstairs and look at my Alpine and see what the hell am I missing. Okay. Valor versus Venom Alpine. All right. And Allison says he can't drink out of it because he's plastic and not a real dog. Okay, well, good point. Good point. They're plastic. They can't drink. But anyway, you can kind of see how these figures, how they pair together. I think they look really good together. I don't know what I was doing here. I wanted to show her compared to Lady J, who, you know, has one of the worst head sculpts in classified. There's another toy tuber. I'm assuming he still does videos. I haven't watched him in a while. He used to always make fun of the classified Lady J, saying, dude does not look like Lady J. And I often wondered, has he ever seen the O-ring Lady J? Because that is an awful monstrosity of an actual figure. But here I have her on the back of the Ram cycle. Now, I will say this. The face does seem kind of glossy here, but that is something they said they were looking for. Okay, first off, he wasn't licking his nads because he doesn't have nads anymore. And second off, it was his paw, and it's not that he's licking his paw as much as he's licking the carpet, which drives me nuts, and the rug. And I got to stop here. Go blue! That's right. Woohoo! Thank you, Flaffle 57. It's just fun to say. Anyway, speaking of soft weapons, we can go back to Lady J. I think she was the first G.I. Joe to have the let's say the classified torpedo weapon. So, Viper Scout says, Elite Legend, I miss him. He doesn't post as often. Yeah, I stopped watching him. He started just getting too personal, going after Emily and stuff. I thought some of the stuff he did was funny, but then he got too personal. But everything's negative, and after a while, if I'm saying everything's too negative, then you need to go, how negative are you? But normally it's pretty funny. His Dusty, when he would come out, and his Vince McMahon always made me laugh. So anyway, I wanted this figure because it was female and see how she compares. I really don't think that there's too much that's different. I actually, looking at it, I kind of realized that Lady J is much smaller than the other Joes, but he wanted to make a smaller buck, so the shoulders are a little bit thinner. He said you can't change everything. You can't change anything because the head doesn't fit, but all the other figures are universal as long as you're getting away from the straight arm figures. So, and here's another picture, trying to use the photo paper that I have on the floor to make it look like they're in sand. So anyway, I really do like these. I definitely will be picking up a few more, when they're actually dropped. There's no doubt about it, because I like being able to add some other O-ring stuff to it. They don't take up nearly as much room. They don't take up nearly as much room as a classified figure, as I think most of us know. War Chest says she has small knees. Yeah, there's a few things, and again, I like them because they're different, but they definitely do. To me, they seamlessly do fit. And we have the Photo Viper. These figures look amazing, but the glossy finish will make them more challenging to photograph. Yeah, I'm assuming by your name, the Photo Viper, you probably know well more than I do, and I can fully understand. I can fully see what you're saying there. But he said he wanted that glossiness because it gave you that feel of, the O-rings. And he said if he couldn't do it, he wasn't going to make them, and that's fully understandable. Again, I don't think anyone's going to have too many. I don't think O-ring collectors are going to have a problem or have too many complaints with it. They're not perfect, but what really is, right? As I mentioned to Steve and Ken, one of the biggest things, it's not about QC issues. It's about how QC issues get taken care of when they're reported. There's a lot of negativity that goes around Valaverse and Bobby, but the one thing that you can say is that every time there's been QC issues with Valaverse products, he has addressed them and tried to make them better. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be another quality issue, another QC issue in the next round. But, with Valaverse, he's taking care of them. And you can't say the same, for every company. Hasbro, it's kind of like hit or miss. You don't know. Like I said, that Shadow Tracker, the weapons are stiff. There's nothing gummy about it. And it's like, okay, so explain this. This is in a plastic-free box. It's Walmart. Yes, it's a reuse of Zartan's mold, or Zartan, as Beast Battleground would say. But the weapons are all new weapons, and they're stiff. There's nothing gummy about them whatsoever. So I don't understand what they're doing when it comes to their quality, but again, major corporation acts completely different than a a small company. Small company has to do better, especially when they have QC issues. They have to do better because there's no reason for someone to come back to Delta 17 if Wave 2 comes out and you're like, same fucking problems, right? Hasbro can come back with a shitty product and people go, I just love G.I. Joe. I love Transformers. I love Star Wars. I don't have a choice. I mean, you do have a choice, but if you want the product. So, 1 second here. All right, I had to call for my daughter because. Ooh. Did you guys hear that? She opened the door and she smashed his face. I don't know if he needs to go out or he just wanted out of the room, but.
Well, I think you might be concussed now. So, I'll be back.
The whole door. She didn't even know. She didn't open it hard. Before anyone said it didn't hurt him. She didn't like swing the door open. She just opened it normal, but he just happened to be right there, and but the whole door kind of did that like that rattle. So, all right, okay. Let's take a drink. See, now I definitely need another commercial because I don't want to replay the same commercial and take a break. So, all right. So there has been a lot of Joe news that has actually come out. There has been a lot of Joe news. Who, me? I have lots of hair. Not for long. Once it hits spring again, it's gone. Back, I don't have any. Back is like gone. Once I shave it, you'll be like, oh my God, it looks like you have a whole bunch of hair. Why'd you shave it? Go take a break. We keep each other entertained. Well, I mean, I guess if you're going to talk about that movie, Rebel Moon, like, I like honestly, I don't know if we've ever seen I don't know if we've ever seen where a conversation has gone on that long that has nothing to do with toys, as I'm just going over and over and over. It's just that it's cold. It's cold, all right? It's cool at first, but you know what? It's cold out. I might as well just have hair. So, Eric says, I have Tony Hawk's hair from the 80s. I had that in 7th grade. People make fun of the picture because my 8th grade picture, I had my hair in my face. My dad was so pissed. And people will try and post it, thinking that it's going to, like, embarrass me. I'm like, dude, I'm so damn proud of that. So, anyway. Yeah. I actually realized I still have hair when I grew it back. Like, I know I have hair because I know when I have to shave it exactly how thick it actually is. So, all right. So let's get into some G.I. Joe news here. And the first thing we're going to talk about is Hiya dropping this. Now, I have said I wanted an O-ring version of this. I'm going to have to look and see where I can actually order the Hiya figures. I haven't looked too much, but I know they are available in the U.S. And I don't know why. We're not sure exactly why Hasbro isn't allowing Hiya to sell here. But yeah, they don't. People think that someone's going to release another 4-inch line for them, or they're going to do it, so they don't want the competition here. James Lucas, Lawrence, you should record a video of you reading everyone poops. You can play when you need a break. Have you? I mean, listen. You've heard me fucking read, right? You've heard me read. I'm not good at reading. I'm gonna have my daughter read it. She's actually a very good reader. um, Into Mystery. I want 2,000 of these. Are you talking about this Hiya Trooper? So anyway, I love the classified version. I know people don't like it. I think the classified version is awesome. This one here also makes enough changes. Now, unfortunately, okay, yes, I think this figure looks awesome. There's yeah, and I will be getting. I just gotta. I think Nerdzoic has it, so she'll see if Holodope Toys is gonna get some. But I think the classified version is awesome, and this one actually has more than enough changes. Now, I'm still not thrilled with the guns. They look just like the classified. Actually, I don't hate the guns, especially not the small one. I don't think it's as bad as people think. I hate the big peg that sticks out of it when they were trying to make sure everything could fit on the person. But this thing is awesome. Like I'm so happy with how this looks. I know they're just taking the classified designs. I think some of them look really good. The price point is kind of what deters me from it. And I know it's odd that I just talked about Delta 17, but that's an independent company. I mean, so is Hiya, I understand. That's something new that I really, want to jump into. Do I need another Major Blood? Do I need another Baroness? That's the question when it comes to this stuff. Ronnie comes in. I'm tipping Alpine comes without shorts on too. I think even I'm tripping Alpine comes without shorts on too. But yeah, this thing looks awesome. And again, I still have not had any Hiya in hand, so I can't speak on the quality. Some people say they're good. Some people say, they're good, but there's some things you can worry about. But the design is classified, but it definitely is different. And I would love this in a classified too. Now, I said before, I like this version. I love the fact that the fire team came with that head also. I love the fact that the Tiger Force comes with that head too. So, or Python Patrol, sorry, not. Someone will yell at me about it. The Python Patrol also comes with something like that. So, Matthew says, I've been impressed with Hiya, with their figures, their accessories, and vehicles have been awesome. The detail looks good, but usually gummy. Well, that is interesting. Whiskey says that Swim Shadow Snake Eyes are awesome. Yeah, there's just a few things that I definitely have to look at. Yeah, Ronnie just clarified what he said. Okay. Ray says the only thing is the hands. You just have to be careful with the hands. Yes, I've heard that about the hands being kind of an issue, and maybe because they're so it's a smaller buck. But look at I mean, you see the camouflage on. I'm not even noticing the camouflage till just now. All right, listen, Lenny. Here, we're gonna create a short. Lenny, this is pretty much your design. We want this in classified. All right, so I will create a short of that. Without the guns. Give us a different gun. All right. Okay, here. Let's go back. Let's create a short. Lenny, we want this in classified. It's already your design, but with different weapons. All right, anyway. Yeah, so intimate. I'm with you. I don't need more. All right. Like the way I'm army building now is I only pick up one or two because there's so many repaints. There's so many repaints that you're basically army building even if you buy just one, right? But the truth is there are people that want to army build these, and there are people that had a hard time getting the troopers. So I'm with you 100%. There is no reason they have the bucks. We see that the molds are still being used. And I've been saying before, like, they should just do I mean, if they can do it for Marvel, which, and their Hydra and their Shield agents, which we know they're paying a royalty, why can't they just give us a $15 figure with one, a $15 Cobra Trooper with one or two guns, all right? The helmet, do different head sculpts, whichever ones you want, right? And just blast them on in Hasbro Pulse. They would sell so fucking many of them that it would be absolutely crazy. So I don't understand the reason why they don't. Again, they do it with Marvel and they pay the rights to that property. Now, a lot of people will say, well, there's no reason to because they can put a $25 figure out and people are going to buy it. But this is a shitty box, no number. Here you go. Army, build it to your heart's content. So, Xavier says, yes, we need to redo their Eel and Range Viper production runs like 3 months ago. Man, well, we're going to get into that in a minute. So, I think the Range Viper, I think you guys are kind of shit out of luck. I'm sure there'll probably be another Range Viper coming down the road. That's a Walmart thing, in my opinion. Okay, so here's everything that he comes with. Now, the different hand is nice. Now, I will say this. The smaller rifle, which I still use with my classified figures, I really do like it. Again, I hate the peg that sticks out of it. But again, Cobra was always experimental. They're always getting stuff from Mars. So I don't really have a problem with it. Now, this one here, when you look at it, they really do make it look like it's like a pulsing, like some sort of pulsing, laser rifle. So I have no problem with it. The sniper, I understand what they were doing originally. They were trying to give you the trooper's gun, and you can see that it is designed to look similar to it, but as a laser rifle. And it was just too big. It's just too big. So anyway, this thing does look really nice. And yeah, I think I'm going to have to get a couple. Okay, on to the Transformer crossover. And we finally found out what Optimus Prime is going to be. So if you are not familiar with this, understand no one really knew what it was going to be. This is going to come with General Hawk, or it's coming with Hawk. I don't know if they've said General or Colonel Hawk yet. Now, a lot of people are a little upset because you have the Thunder Machine that didn't come with Thrasher. People are kind of upset this is not come with Steeler. The All Striker didn't come with Crankcase. I go on and on, right? But I will be really interested to see how they do this. I know people wanted a larger vehicle, but again, it has to scale into the exact same size as Megatron's Hiss. And that's a beefy boy. That one is definitely bigger than Bumblebee, which is awesome. And now I do not have the Thunder Machine. These were ones that I said I'm going to wait on them because they always go down in clearance. A matter of fact, we just saw on shit. If Wraith Mace is here, what was the name of that kids place? They got that the Hiss tank there, the Transformer Hiss for I think $50. Kids place, I think it is. Something like that. But anyway, I'm interested to see how they're going to do this. There's got to be some Kids Warehouse. Thank you, down south, right here. So anyone that's kind of watching, not paying attention, Kids Warehouse, Ed, down south 77, and basically about the same as the Ollie prices and Ross prices that you're going to get, but you can order them online. And Thanos Copter said you can actually go through Walmart and order them and get free shipping. But anyway, I will be really interested to see how they do this. This may be one that I don't hold off on. Now, I know there's been a lot of issues with people thinking, hey, you know what? This isn't true. They're not really doing this. I don't know who really ever said that. No one really questioned that they weren't doing these crossovers once the first one came out. The Triple T was reported. Chad talked about it a year ago. I know Chris McLeod from the Full Force had talked about it. They just didn't know, who the Transformer was going to be. But I don't remember anyone saying that's not happening or that's not true. It just makes no sense. So I just don't know, where any of that comes from. Ronnie says Optimus Prime is red and blue. How is he going to be green? This is weird. Well, Bumblebee is also, yellow, not green. And Megatron is not black. Megatron is, like silver. They'll make it work. Again, there's all that kibble underneath it. But again, it's what vehicle would you use for Optimus Prime? Red, white, and blue in the G.I. Joe line isn't not a very popular vehicle color. But I am interested in this. I really don't think it has anything to do with, what HasLab might be coming. Okay, so the Rolling Thunder would be too big. Now it would have to come apart, and I think that's what you were trying to get at, that the back piece would come apart and it would be similar to how he had his trailer come off. The only issue with that is, listen, people aren't really buying these. That's why they're all going on clearance. Amazon tries to blow them out. They can't get rid of them. Hasbro Pulse puts them on sale. Entertainment Earth always has them on sale. They sit there for a little bit and then they go out. And again, it's all profit for Hasbro because they own both properties. The thing that I have said before, and maybe they've changed this, and you have to go look at Hasbro Pulse, is go look right now, actually. Before, these were on the Transformer side, not on the G.I. Joe side, which tells me that it is Transformer side that is really putting them out, not the G.I. Joe side. So, quickly here, shop. Let's see here, brands. Just gonna look at G.I. Joe really quick. We'll shop all G.I. Joe. So I'm scrolling to the G.I. Joe, and none of the Transformers are on here. Not the Bumblebee. Now let's see. Maybe it's sold out, and that's the reason why they're not there. And this is fascinating. I guess I could bring this up, but I can't. There's a lot of Transformers. I didn't realize that. I mean, I know this. I was like, you know this, but you don't realize how many Transformers lines there are. Holy shit. Man. I don't know if that's the line you'd want to be on or the line you'd be scared of. Yeah, so when you go to the Transformer side, that's where you'll find the Soundwave. Soundwave Thunder Machine. So again, I believe that this is being pushed out by the Transformer side, not the G.I. Joe side. Although I'm sure the G.I. Joe has some input into it, and this is exactly why they're giving the O-rings, or I don't want to say giving the O-rings. They are outsourcing the O-rings to Super 7 going forward. That's always been their baby. That's always been the G.I. Joe baby. The fact that they're allowing someone else to do their brand is very interesting. They don't have the from what I understand, they don't have the rights to do original figures. So. Anyway, it says all they're using from G.I. Joe is old molds. It's 90%. Yeah, but it's not even old molds. I mean, they look that way, but they have absolutely, other than their look, there is zero between the two of them. And what I mean by that, like, there's zero cross molds. Like the All Striker cannon is nothing like either the original or the retro one that had come out not too long, a few years ago. So they're not using anything that's similar. Everything is completely different, which is good. I mean, but they're not cutting costs by reusing a mold from, yesterday or yesteryear, shall I say. It says they're not bad, just not interesting. I would have been down for a G1 Optimus truck that came with a miniature-sized Joe to scale with him. Yes. So I'll say this. I have two of them. I will eventually get the Thunder Machine. But they were such a pain in the ass to transform that I did it on my review, and then I transformed it back, and it stays in robot form. I don't see myself ever changing it back unless if I have to package it up for something, and I don't need to. It does look awesome. Having Megatron on the carrier and have it on the flag like attacking is awesome. Having Bumblebee get away with a Matrix that I have from my son got from one of his Optimus Primes when he was a kid is absolutely awesome. So actually got it from Rodimus Prime. Before someone corrects me and goes, what? It's like the steel Matrix. And it came with Rodimus Prime. All right, let me take a drink. A little bit of classified news. Oh, we're getting classified news. All right, so Super 7, these have dropped. No one knows if they're going to be the O-ring or if they're going to be the 5 points of piece of shit articulation. So there's a Fatal Fluffy, Super 7 Joe Master, whatever that is, and the Cobra Master. Not sure what those are. Probably has something to do with the Fatal Fluffy episode. I know people are interested in these. It looks like they're going to be at the. Now I don't know if Target is just raising it by 50 cents, or if this is Super 7 raising it by 50 cents. But again, they keep raising their prices, and it makes you wonder: will their prices be sitting at $22 by the time those O-rings come out? Because I'm interested in seeing the O-rings. I don't even care about these reaction figures anymore, because now they're actually going to give us hopefully some obscure figures in O-ring form. Sirius says one of the channels I follow mentioned a collector bought up like 60 eels alone. There was so if I remember correctly, there was a limit at. I don't remember. Someone's got Beast Battleground journalist. You probably know what was the limit. Do you remember what the limit was for the eels on Amazon? Because there was a cap on them. I know Baldy had said it, and I actually went and looked, and if I remember correctly, yeah, it wouldn't let you order so many. Doesn't mean you can't get it. Doesn't mean you can't get it. Now I don't know what you're gonna do with 60 eels or 60 of any army builder, but I've seen the pictures of people with them, and I just don't get it. But I think if you're buying 60 eels, unless if I see them open, you were banking on the fact that you were going to be able to sell them at a high price. Just my opinion. So anyway, we got Fatal Fluffy here, Super Joe. Again, I know not too many people care about Super 7, but it did show up in the Target system. Oddly enough, we see this. How come no one ever got a shot of the Dr. Mindbender Trouble Bubble SKU, you would think that it should be there, right? And Severe says, just do 20 in an order and go back and order 20. Hasbro has perfected that when you hit the max. That is it. Yes, I know. Are they going for $60 on eBay? Jeez, man. Don't listen. If you don't have an eel, unless you're a completionist, don't buy them, because this also showed up. So G.I. Joe Retro Aki action figures. Everyone thought this was the eel. It's not. You have the Snow Serpent, so don't go and buy other Snow Serpents. If you are want an army build, the retro one is coming for $25. I think if you want an army build, the Snow Serpent, have 2 or 3 of the deluxe ones, and then you can army build the retro ones, and you'll have, numerous pelts that you can use to, show who the leader is and different things like that. You have the retro Duke. Again, I'm not a fan of Duke. I do think this figure looks absolutely amazing, and thank you for not giving him a screaming Duke face. If I want that, I will just go buy the Battleverse fake Airborne / fake Chuckles, now fake screaming Duke face Condor. But yeah, so Duke is coming. No one knows who Azrael is. Now, Chris McLeod did say, I believe he said he knows who Azrael is, but he can't say who it is until it either slips out or they give him permission. And then you have this retro Casey. It was one of these that there was one of them that Chris McLeod said they know exactly who it is, but they cannot say who it is. There was one he said he does not know who it is. So if anyone was watching the Full Force, chime in if you remember exactly which one it was. It says, ready for that Snow Serpent retro. I'm kind of shocked they put in Troop Builders as a deluxe figure. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It also does not make a lot of sense that that doesn't make a lot of sense, nor does making the EO an Amazon exclusive. The Amazon exclusive, as I said, should have been that Desert Snake Eyes, because it's not something you have to have. And before anyone says you didn't give this person credit, comes from Chaz the Guru. You see, Chaz is right there. Also, did you know that Chaz's little icon, like his little avatar there, that is Grogu with a Sith hood over it? I didn't realize that. Anyway, this is Team I Hate Duke proud card carrying member right here. He's the worst. I'm sorry. He should have died. Asir says, yes, you're absolutely right. But them, yes, you're absolutely right. But them up and jack up the price. But that's what happened with Breaker right before Thanksgiving. BBTS, EE, and Amazon all sold out within a week before Thanksgiving. Well, that Breaker was Target exclusive. People went crazy over it. And then, if you remember, it went on clearance for no apparent reason whatsoever. Rachel. Okay. Chris said Casey is Cobra Commander. I thought it said Cobra Commander. I thought there was one that actually said Cobra Commander. I do remember him saying that. So I remember saying Cobra Commander. I thought I saw that. And thank you. That makes me feel better, because I brought up to Lenny when I had him on about a retro Cobra Commander, and he was like, did we? I'm like, I thought you guys announced it. He's like, no, we haven't. I'm like, damn, I thought you guys had announced it already. All right, so here we have the Eel, Rakondo, Scarlet, and Beachhead. So do not overpay for the Eel unless you're a completist and you're like, hey, I have to have every single one then I guess you're going to have to do what you need to do. But if you're that much of a completionist, why are you not just taking the time at 12 or whenever the figures drop and jumping on Kenzo? I might ban you for that. I might have to ask Oz to not have us on the same stream ever again. See, that shit makes me laugh. All right, that shit makes me laugh. But yeah. Again, unless if you are a completionist like myself, but if you are, like, I would assume you're taking that time off when they drop so you can jump on Hasbro Pulse, Amazon, wherever you can get it from and order it. But here, hopefully, you'll be able to buy as many eels as you want. Hopefully, you can buy as many snow serpents as you want. I'm not going to be overdoing it because I don't have enough room, and eventually the cost does catch up to me. I'm not spending other people's money, so what you want to spend it on is up to you. But Emily said, hey, there's going to be more eels coming. They said, hey, there's going to be more snow serpents. Now, maybe this was the way to get a snow serpent like leader out there. But they also dropped that first knowing that people were going to, that's stupid, right? They dropped that early, you would assume, knowing that, hey, people will buy a bunch of these, can help increase your budget. And now you're dropping, the retro one that's going to be $25, and then you can army build that. So, and I unfortunately, if someone can speak, I'm assuming Spanish, maybe. Unfortunately, I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you, but I cannot read, can't speak another language. But I'm not ignoring you. Just know that. Oh, you know what? You're about to get banned. You can say whatever you want. You may not like Tom Cruise, but you know what? Fucking Top Gun is one of the best fucking movies ever. And Maverick is even better than the first Top Gun as an actual movie. Oh, wait, what is it? I don't know what it is. Okay. I told you I don't speak another language, blind robot. Yeah, I only ignore. Listen, Ray Paz posts so damn much, I couldn't ignore him even if I wanted to. I'm not a good Mexican. I've said that. I don't do yard work. I don't cook burritos. I'm only 25% Mexican. My kids are only 12.5%. Woo! Anyway, okay. Do I have anything else after this? And that is it. That is my slides. I don't know how I'm going to get over an hour worth of. Does anyone have to say anything about the figures that are coming out? It's kind of crazy to look at that many figures, because what was that right there? Hold on. Let me add this again. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know why I counted them. So there's 4 right there. So there's 8. So that's like, what, 10? So that's like 10 retro figures, retro classified figures. Okay. All right, so this is actually kind of funny. So Maverick kept getting demoted, but here's what Maverick was a captain. Now, understand that a captain in the Navy is not the same as a captain in the Air Force, Army, or Marines. Being a captain means he's like a colonel. I think an actual high colonel. So it's like, all right, so you didn't make it to admiral, but you was pretty damn high up there, especially as a pilot, right? So you know, when they say that, a guy like him, never made it to admiral. Well, in Maverick, he talks about like when she says like, what kind of sailor are you? And he's like, what? He said, he said something about he lands on boats. He doesn't drive boats. He lands on boats, something like that, right? So he never wanted to be like in charge of a boat, right? Um, um, yeah, a punk with more. I live in townhouses, all right. I don't have to do yard work, all right. I pay an association, and they cut the grass. I grew up in a condo, so I never had to cut grass. I cut grass for maybe a year when I lived with an ex for a year and a half. I didn't even do it all the time because it wasn't my damn house. It was her house. So, anyway, really, Ed, really, Ed comes in here with the stray bullet of I enjoyed Rebel Moon. Really, you just come in with that stray bullet. We're like almost out of fucking Ohio, and Ed's like, boom. Oh, you just blew a fucking flat tire in Ohio. Now you got to change it here. It's going to take some time. Yeah. So that's pretty damn, yeah. So in 06 in the Navy, and he was a captain, means his pay grade was pretty damn high. Like there weren't too many people he had to salute. Is what I'm saying. All right. Most of the people that were saluting him. All right. So yeah, just kind of no Ohio flashback. I'm starting to think I tell you guys way too much about my life. All right. I think I'm starting to tell you guys way too much about my fucking life that we get this stuff. Anyway, Maverick is a great movie, and I really do mean that it is a great movie. And you don't need to see Top Gun to see Maverick, but I watched so many YouTube channels of fighter pilots that talked about Maverick, and many of these fighter pilots actually joined the Navy or the Air Force because of Top Gun. But when they watched Maverick, they said, listen, all that stuff they did was real. Yeah, there was some stuff that was maybe, it wouldn't have been done the same, like certain maneuvers, but I also have to take it out and say it's entertainment. And if you did it a certain way, the crowd is going to be like, this is really boring. But they said all the call signs, they said when they refer to it as a boat, not a ship, that's how they actually refer to it. They talk about the box, which is, I think it was the box, right? Which is the cockpit. They refer to, and if anyone knows, why do they call the F-35 Fat Amy? But a lot of them talk about the Fat Amy. So I'm just wondering why they refer to it as Fat Amy. So yeah, there was just a lot of different things, but anyway. Whew. All right. See, I think most people agree. Yeah. So So as an actual movie, I agree. Maverick is better than Top Gun, by far. Now, nostalgic feel, I can't say that I like it more, although I absolutely love Maverick. I absolutely love it. I think it was absolutely awesome. But as an actual movie, there's no doubt about it. It's so much better than Top Gun, and you don't need to see Top Gun to see Maverick. They fill you in on everything you need to be filled in on. Well, who's ignoring everyone? I am. Kind of weird that they didn't say exactly who the enemy was in the movie. They didn't say who the enemy was in the first one either, if I remember correctly, didn't they? But many of the pilots said there's only one nation that still flies the F-14, and it's Iran. or Iran, as the one who says it. Fuller, you are absolutely correct. Maverick ripped off the Star Wars trench run. Did I care? Nope. I love that movie so much. Yes. It was Star Wars meets Iron Eagle. That's how I put it. And I did also had a Big Bacon, another channel member. Great to see you here. No, they totally did. And you know what? Like you said, I didn't give a shit. It was fucking awesome. We watched them go into that fucking run, and you're like, yep. We got to see Maverick run like 4 miles to get to Rooster in the snow without a problem. Again, continuity issues. I'm assuming fighter jets are going really fast. They would not have crashed right around each other when he got shot down. And the fact that he ran in snow, fully geared up, but you cannot have a Tom Cruise movie without a running scene, right? The guy has the most awkward run of all time. Listen, I don't even remember the second one. I know I've seen it. I don't remember it. But Iron Eagle is so bad that it's awesome. Chappie. Okay, so you are absolutely correct. The 35 smokes all those planes. You're right. And the pilots talked about the reason why, and they said actually there are some. Oh, dude. Okay, first off, I accidentally highlighted this. You are wrong. Iron Eagle is not better than Top Gun. Anyway, they did talk about that, and the one reason why they wanted to do that, the one reason why they needed to use the Super Hornet was because it has a back seat, and Tom Cruise wanted people in the planes when they did it. Airwolf greater than Iron Eagle. Airwolf wasn't really a movie. He's also awesome. He's also awesome in The Punisher. But they did talk about it, and they said they wanted to get him in the backseat. But they did say that there was Liquid Identity, Jennifer Connelly. Once again, we already talked about Jennifer's one day on the stream, and it seems like not all, but so many Jennifers in Hollywood are hot. All right, Tony, you're banned. That Punisher was awesome. Best Punisher. But they talked about it, and they said that there would be some reasons, and if you didn't need stealth capabilities, there would be no reason to really use that. And they did say that. And I've seen other pilots talk about dogfighting, and they're like, and I just watched it yesterday, the day before, where a fighter pilot was saying that the Super Hornet in a dogfight would beat a fully armed F-35 every single time. The problem is they're never going to get into a dogfight. Just like they said the F-22 would not last in a dogfight against many of these 4th generation fighters. But what it would do is it would take off miles out of range, turn around, and then shoot them all down before they even have a chance to do anything, because the stealth capabilities. So, it is interesting. The more I watched about fighter jets, an F-35 would see them coming, but they were going into the trenches. They needed something different. They couldn't use the F-35. They explain it, and the pilots, the fighter pilots that I watched specifically said, there was a reason why they wanted to use the Super Hornet, but there were some actual reasons why you would not have been able to use the F-35, right? Because to me, it was like, why wouldn't you just use the F-22? People say whatever they want. I think most people will still tell you the F-22 is the best plane that's ever been made. The only reason why they want to retire it is because of how much it costs to maintain. Yeah, dogfights don't happen anymore. Just like you said, Eric, like dogfights don't happen anymore. But in a dogfight, if you got into it, but they also the pilot that I was, or one that came up the other day was when he's in the F-14, and he said, yeah, that Su-35 or whatever it was. He said a good pilot would have just taken off and then turned around and shot it down before you even knew what was coming. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a fucking movie. All right? And we got to see the F-14. We got to see the Sky Striker. It's a badass plane. I don't care what anyone says. It's still the best looking fighter plane. And then I don't care what anyone says. It's the F-22 because the F-22 is fucking awesome. Anyway. Whew. Hey, Plastic Skulls, how's it going? Thank you. He broke up the Maverick talk. All right, guys, let's get to the topic. Let me see if there's anything that I didn't hit first. I said, welcome back. I asked how everyone's Christmas was. Talked about my top videos, the videos that I did, the reviews, the Wolf Spider, Delta 17, memberships, how you guys should all become channel members. It's only 99 cents. No, don't be sorry. No, don't be sorry. Sometimes you need a hard breakout, right? You just need a hard turn, right? One thing you learn is that you can't just eject. You know, I'm doing this alone. I can't just eject. I try and eject. It's like when Rooster tried to pull the cords and they didn't shoot. So don't worry, Plastic. I'm glad you're here. And more Rebel Moon. We're gonna have to do a Rebel Moon watch along, just so we can figure this out. And you're absolutely right. John Berthanaugh is the perfect Punisher, and I believe he's still gonna be it. Oh yes, I got to work tomorrow, so I'm not gonna go super late tonight because I haven't been sleeping. I've been waking up way later than I should. So anyway, yeah, merch, links, again, memberships, 99 cents. It feels good to support this wonderful channel. Okay. F that, I'm out. Rebel Moon was trash. Okay. Did I miss the 2024 repaints conversation? I didn't say anything about talking about 2024 repaints. So, so Lauren needs to watch Rebel Moon in action with Matthew Madsen. Well, Matthew's already said he's out. All right. Matthew just said, I would rather you call me Matt than make me watch Rebel Moon again. I'm pretty sure that those were his words that he was saying while he was saying that. All right. So 2024. I just want to talk about some expectations, predictions, and hopes. And I want to write some of the stuff down. And one of the last shows of this year, it is 2024, one of the last shows of this year, we'll go back and see if any of them came to fruition, if I was right, if I was wrong, if the channel's still around, who the hell knows. So that's what we're gonna do. I'll put this in a little file, in a little Word document, and I'll put it there, and hopefully we'll remember. I'm already planning easy shows going through the year. So the first hope is I'm hoping that I'm going to make it to Joe Fest. Now, Matthew, before you say it, no, we're not going to Dallas. All right, we're going to Joe Fest if we go. That's what we're doing. All right. You can go to Dallas and get signatures from. I don't give a shit about autographs. So I don't really care who's there. I want to meet other toy tubers that I have chatted with, we know that the majority of the independent companies are going to go there. So just like PowerCon, you're going to get this influx of the independent companies. We know Valaverse will not be there. They've made that perfectly clear. And that's fine. It doesn't really bother me at all. But it seems like everyone else is, all the other independent companies are going to be going there. So I know Matthew wants us all to go to Dallas. I would never make it to Dallas because that is a further drive than Florida. Although I do love Dallas. I do like it when I used to be able to go there for training. So this week I will be taking off the time. Now it doesn't mean I'm going to be able to go, but I'm already going to have it locked in that I have the days off. Joe Fest really isn't all that expensive to get in there. But again, if I'm going to be going down there, obviously I need a place to stay. But you're probably going to want to pick up some stuff. So I definitely do need to have some money. But again, I've mentioned before, and Ryan and I talked about it. Some people don't seem to really understand how expensive a senior year for a kid is. I'm not a rich man by any stretch of the imagination. Not a rich man by any stretch of the imagination. So, I have to have the funds to go. I'm not going to beg anyone. I'm not going to do a GoFundMe to get me somewhere. That is not me. That has never been me. If I was ever going to do a GoFundMe for something, it would be because I need something to survive for my family. Matthew and I have actually discussed stuff like this numerous times. Well, you say that, but everyone that we associate with, for the most part, is going down to Joe Fest. And I'm not sure what independents you're talking about are going to DFW. Isn't DFW pretty much like Motor City Comic Con? It's just, your biggest one. But Mythic Legions is going to Joe Fest. Skeletron, right? Call sign Longbow, Delta 17, Gridiron. Aren't they all going to Joe Fest? So, it would be a journey down by the river, a Dodge journey down by the river. and yet, like Tony says, like, we got you. Like, listen, I had numerous people last year offer, hey, you know what? You need a place to stay? You can stay with me or whatever. Again, I'm sure if I showed up there, I could find a place to crash. Again, not really me. Yeah. But I am going to try and go. Like I said, I'm going to take the time off, and then I'm going to let, my ex know, hey, I'm probably going to be gone this weekend. So do not plan, like, this is a no-go for his graduation party, right? Matter of fact, I have to figure out exactly. I have to figure out what it is. Possibly if I go, yes. Yeah. Well, how far off of 75 are you? I'll talk to you later about it. I have no problem doing that. So Matthew says, Call Sign Longboy will be at DFW, many others, including the creator sculptors of Recall and OG. I don't care. Like, I don't care about OG. Like, I don't care about that's what I don't care about. Like, for me, I don't care about that. Like, I know you like that stuff, and that's cool, and whoever does. Oh shit, you're 3 blocks from 75. All right, so yeah, if I do, I'll be going right by there. Yeah, I know Chad is going there. But again, everyone let's see. Tony, Ed, Travis. I love you, Travis. If Bees goes, that's where Bees going to go. Again, I can kind of go down the list. Aaron the Toy Hanser, he says, let's see. You can always stay with us in Georgia anytime, bro. I'm definitely going to ride out to Joe Fest. How far are you from Joe Fest? I know we discussed this before. I don't know. Either way, we're not going to. The plan is not to go to Dallas. I will meet you another time, Matthew. I promise you. But yeah, so anyway, my hope is to go to Joe Fest. Listen, this I will never get through this if we don't. Yeah, so Skydra Walker. I'll be at DFW to see Ron Rudat for sure. Listen, if that's what you're into, that is absolutely cool. Like, I mean, again, I don't know the logistics. People seem like Joe Fest tried to do this on purpose. It feels like this was the date that they got. They're not in the same town. It's not like they're right down the street. And Joe Fest has always been Joe. It's based on Joe stuff. So, but yeah. Okay. So, my expectations for this year is 5,000 subscribers. I actually don't think that's going to be too difficult. And I've said it before. It's just it's really just a pat on the back, to be honest, when you get to a certain point. But it is a good pat on the back. My hope is 6,000 subscribers. I gained just over 2,000 subscribers this year. I was hoping to hit 2,000 by 2024. I went well past that to 30. I was at 3,400 subscribers before the year turned. So I'm shooting, like I said, 5,000 is what my expectation is. My hope is 6,000, and I really don't think it's going to be that difficult. Rachel says, someone in my family planned a wedding for that weekend. I won't be able to go to Joe Fest or DFW. Well, I mean, how good of a family member are they, Rachel? You got to ask yourself that. And do you think it's going to last forever? Because you know what the number one reason for divorce is, right? Marriage. Yeah, okay, so if you're in Arizona and you're driving, well, you said a long flight, but if you're driving, yeah, why wouldn't you just stop and go to DFW instead? Anyway. But hey, jump on a plane with Tony. He's going to be leaving Arizona, so all right. The prediction for classified is that we'll get over 60 figures. Now, I'm also including the retro carded figures. And by doing that, I probably should go a little bit higher. Because people seem to want to... I mean, I did it, so yes. Listen, I just watched real football. I just watched Michigan beat the big, bad, evil Georgia, right? And we're going to the national championship. We're going to watch them in the national championship. But anyway, I said over 60 classified figures. I think that is crazy number. I think this year we got 63. I think we got 63 different ones is what Bobby's Battleground had said. Absolutely crazy that we got so fucking many. So it's pretty nuts, to be honest. But again, it's one of those things where that's what I'm predicting. This one's going to bother some people. Hold on. Oh, so let's see here. So we had 65 this year. 75 classified, 3P of which will be Snake Eyes. Well, listen, as long as they're giving us other molds, I have no problem with giving repaints, right? What if they play Rebel Moon at DFW, Matthew? as you're waiting in line, it's just Rebel Moon looping over and over and over. That would be awesome. That would be absolutely awesome. Listen, I kind of want to go to Joe Fest now just because the amount of going back and forth with people that went to DFW compared to Joe Fest and trying to one up each other every single time will be pretty damn fun. But all I'm gonna say is if I go to Joe Fest, I'm gonna be hanging out with Tony. I'm gonna hang out with Ed again, Oz. You know, that's what I want to do. I'm gonna have a good time for 3 days, just hanging out with people, fucking around, right? So this one here might hurt some people. It might leave some people butt hurt. It might rattle some cages. My prediction is that in 2024, Monster Force will be the second largest military 6-inch line. I am predicting that it will surpass Valiverse and everything that they do for a multitude of reasons. And I just have a feeling that it's going to be the one that's sitting when 2025 comes, the one that is sitting right below. And when I say right below G.I. Joe, I mean like here's G.I. Joe, here's the next one. And I think a lot of that has to do with they didn't drop any figures this year. They didn't drop any figures this year. So all the figures they were going to drop this year, they're going to be dropping next year. And we've already seen the lineup, and some other people have already told me that they've seen figures that haven't even been announced yet. But yeah, that's my prediction. I think, unfortunately, if Valiverse doesn't get some new molds out, and I know he has new bucks that he's been talking about, and we've seen them, but who knows when they're actually coming out? I just think it's gonna, this is gonna affect them, and not to mention BBTS is going to be pumping these things out like crazy. Tony says it's going to be insane. Shout out to Fresh Monkey Fiction. I predict Hasbro will lay off 21. But again, I'm just going to say this. They're a corporation. They're it's no different than Ford, GM, Chrysler, Apple. It sucks, and it sucks when they do it. And I'm not trying to say that it's not awful, but yeah. It says you're putting an awful lot of eggs into Monster Force Basket Punk. Again, this is why this is a prediction. I may be completely wrong, right? I may be completely wrong, and we'll see. I just think that they have so much stuff. And like right here, like I think you're right about that. People are, I can't remember. Has there been another line that is ready to go, right? Because Fresh Monkey Fiction, I mean, Monster Force is a new brand, but it's not a new company. Has there been another line that people are just salivating to get? I can't think of it, because you have military people and you have monster people, horror people that are just waiting to get this. And there's other reasons too that I kind of discussed. Like there are some people that will not buy stuff, from Valiverse. They do not like the owner. They don't like Bobby. They don't like the way he talks, how he attacks people, and they won't buy from him. And it hurts you. And hell, you know what? Fresh Monkey Fiction may have the exact same opinions as him, but we don't hear him talk, so people don't get mad about it. And for me, I've just kind of grown tired of the same mold and seeing the same figure over and over and over. And I've said before, I think Monster Force is just, it is original without being original, if that makes any sense. So anyway, that's my prediction for the second biggest. No one's gonna. It's not gonna surpass Classified. We already know that. My expectation is that all four crowdfunders that I backed will come in. Skeletron, Savage Crucibles, Callsign Longbow, and Operation Recall. I would love to have them. It'd be nice. At least, as I've mentioned before, I feel Skeletron actually updates me. The other ones kind of update me, but I read it and I'm like, this makes no sense whatsoever. Skeletron, I have actually seen them send out product. And I'm not saying anyone's going to rip me off, but I am saying when I back something before the Sky Striker, it would be nice to have it. It's been a long time. And I know last night we were talking about some stuff, and Ken said he canceled something that he had ordered 7 years ago. Yeah, I don't have that type of patience. I'm not going to lie about that. So, say hi to Baldy really quick. Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Punk, and everyone in the chat popping in to say hi quick. Best wishes for 2024. All right. So that is my expectation. I'm not going to predict that because I don't know. I just know that I am, and that's why I said for Skeletron, we've actually seen them ship stuff out, right? A lot of that goes back to, and again, I didn't back any of this, so I can't say anything. Ramen Toys, and I met Ace. I like Ace, but you need to start getting product in people's hands. He was in the chat all night last night when I was on. Again, seems like a really nice guy, but he's taking a lot of people's money, and people are waiting for product to show up. And I can only hear, it's coming. It's coming up next. Like, all right, let's see the product. And a lot of people have gotten very close with them. Nobody really wants to say that. At least that's the feeling that I get. People have become close with people, and they don't want to say, all right, well, where the fuck's the product? All right, I've waited long enough. You need to start shipping out some product. All right. I'm trying to read the chat. There's some really big. Sabir says, I'm kind of unsure about Valaverse after my Wave 3 Eclipse figure just fell apart last week. Shake my head. It has been out of the box a few times for picks, and that's it. Last week, it just fell apart on me. So the one thing I'm going to say about the female Bucks, and I think Matthew will agree with this. I think Bobby B will agree with this. They feel like they went back to the plastic that came out with their first wave. That wave wasn't bad. I continued to buy the product. I supported the product, and they got better. But when I opened up the females, it felt like I was going back to that first series of figures. Like the plastic was hard. I didn't have any breakage, but I'm also not stupid. I looked around and I saw there was a lot of breakage. And again, same thing that I will say about Hasbro when everyone says they have all these QC issues. Everyone has internet access, has social media access, and everyone has a camera on their phone. So yes, every time something breaks, it is posted, it is sent out. You have 3 stacks to the max, taking other people's pictures and putting it out there, giving a false narrative. So you have shit like that all the time. And I did not say your name, just for the fact I kept your name out my mouth. Anyway. All right. 1 second here. This is going to be interesting. People have asked me numerous times, what do I think the HasLab will be? And this is the HasLab now has changed. And what I mean by that is they're producing vehicles. They've produced a vamp, right? We know they're producing the ferret, which means the devilfish is roughly the same size. The skyhawk is something that you can do roughly the same size. And we also know that if they really wanted to, they could put something out that size, do Hasbro Pulse, maybe BBTS, Entertainment Earth. They could do a hiss that size, losing the electronics and maybe losing the back door, making it not nearly as glorious as it is. And I'm not trying to put down the hiss because it is a glorious piece of plastic. But at this point, you know you're getting the vamp, which means you're going to get a Vamp Mark II, you're going to get a Stinger, and then they can use other different, they can do other, smaller vehicles, or they can do other exclusives. So if they want to do a Dreadnought and the Dreadnought Cycle, it's right there, right? They can do their series exclusive. Anyway, so I really think you go back to now having dream projects. And this is what people talked about. I still think this is too big, but they've done it before. If they do a HasLab and it is a Cobra, I'm going to say it's going to be the Rattler. I don't think it's going to be a Rattler, but I'm just kind of throwing it out there. Looking at it, a Rattler would probably be about as wide and long as the Dragonfly. And that's kind of where now you're creating this X, right? This square profile for the most part. Where the Dragonfly, what people don't realize, you can push it up against the wall and it's only going to take up this much space. So if it's Cobra, I think it's going to be a Rattler. You're going to want something to fight the Dragonfly. If it is G.I. Joe, and I said this last night, I think it'll be the Havoc. It is a large vehicle, larger than the Hiss tank. It holds multiple characters. Snake's diecast, really quick. What are your favorite figures? 6-inch classified or OG O-ring? Well, I just did my top 10. I think the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, those are probably the best. There's just so many good ones. It's hard to say. When it goes back to the O-ring, it probably is Storm Shadow version 2. Maybe Snake Eyes version 2, Gung Ho. There's so many figures that it's hard to actually just nail down and say, this is what I think it is. This is what I think my favorite are. So if it's G.I. Joe, I think it's going to be Havoc. It's very iconic, and it's large. That's the whole thing. It's large. It has the pod where it can fly out because it's obviously a ground vehicle there. I know a lot of people think they're going to go back and do a Cobra vehicle now they just did a Joe. We don't know that for sure. There's no. They've only had 2. They don't have to do that, but they easily could. But the Havoc just has so much, and I don't think the Havoc is a great vehicle at all. I don't think it's a great vehicle at all. I mean, I have a few of them, but it's iconic, all right? And you could do something where the canopy, you make 2 different canopies. One, so it's like, hey, if you want to get shot, here you go. And then you could do another one and be like, hey, this one actually is armored, so, they wouldn't die. Snake's Diecast, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. I love having, especially new people popping in, and I would love to answer your question, except for I don't have a full answer. But again, I think because of Troop Carrier, there's so many things I can carry, and the pod that comes out, you can do a lot to it. So But my dark horse is, and I talked about this yesterday. Gaz disagreed, and that's okay. We can disagree. They're going hard with the Iron Grenadiers this year. So I don't think it's going to be long before we get an Iron Grenadier Destro. Hell, the only Destro, we had Destro in the first couple series, right? And then we had that retro crappy one with the eyebrows. But we really haven't had a new Destro. They've all been the exact same mold. And my dark horse would be, because they've done Cobra, they've done Joe. My original thing was they were going to do Dreadnought and do the Thunder Machine, but that seems to be thrown out, right? People are saying that's not what it's going to be. That one's coming out. I would say the Demon or the Dominator. Something different. You're getting to that point. You're now talking about you're going back to dream projects, right? Those things are very large. And it was after my time. So I can understand when someone says, no, they want to go hard with the classics. And I kind of agree there. But now they have this built-in audience, right? And again, Iron Grenadiers are going hard at. So that's my dark horse. Will it happen? I don't know. Will any of that? I don't know. Dude, I mean, there's going to be another HasLab. You know, the problem is you've already proven that you'll make vehicles that aren't HasLab. So now you have to give people a dream project. You have to give people something that, all right, we're not going to get that. So, okay. My hope this year is that I won't miss more than 3 Monday night live streams. If you remember last year, I missed 2. One I was in Disney. Oddly enough, I actually went on Payne's Toy Samples that night because I was back at the hotel. And then the other one was Christmas. I looked at the calendar. Christmas does not fall on Monday, which why would it? Because it fell this year on Monday. There are a couple of holidays that fall in on Monday, but we're always going back to work the next day anyway. So my hope is that I will not miss more than 3. But hey, you know what? If a concert shows up and I want to go see a concert and it just happens to be on Monday, then I'm going to have to skip a Monday here and there. I don't go to see many concerts. But when I do, they're local shows. They're local punk, not local punk shows. They're punk shows in a club that is a lot of fun. Let's say I go to Joe Fest and I leave on Monday because I wouldn't be leaving on Sunday. It all depends on when I would get back, if I even have time, but I would probably still do one because you guys know I have issues missing my Mondays. So that's my hope. My prediction is I won't. Prediction is I will not miss a more than 3 Mondays. And my last was my hope is that I can produce some better videos that are evergreen videos. I really need to work on my editing skills when it comes to doing evergreen stuff. My reviews, I don't want to change. That is what is growing this channel. People tune in because they actually get an actual look and firsthand look at the figures, not someone that has already articulated, heated it up, fix this, fix that, change this. They're seeing exactly what it looks like. And that's what's grown the channel. I would not have assumed that people would want to sit through a 20 to 35 minute review at times. I go very in depth at times. And that was really brought to my attention from Ken when we did the Delta 17. And he was like, that was really thorough, really helped out. So want to say hi to Johnny Reno here. Where you at, Johnny? I haven't bought any Gridiron gear all year. I am going to order something from Gridiron really soon because I'm looking at my numbers and I reviewed 2 or 3 of those weapons, and like 3 of them are like in my top 20 videos of the year. So they do really well for me. I don't even buy them. I will say this: the one gun that I've had someone holding is completely warped because they warp because of the 3D printing that they do. And again, that's always been my complaint. One of my complaints is that they pull, but they do make some nice, lovely stuff. So, and we'll say hi to Thanos Copter right now. Always good to see Thanos. Check him out on Instagram if you have a strong stomach, because he posts some stuff that is not very it's not very gentlemanlike, I guess you could say, but it's very comical. If it wasn't, I wouldn't say that. And James, I appreciate that. Like, again, I don't know if my reviews are the best. I try and do the best that I can with giving everyone a look at the figure overall. That is the reason why I still do the articulation. I still do the articulation because there are people that are getting into the line. There are people that maybe have no idea and they're just wondering. And again, I don't want to have to heat it up, but if I do, I let people know. And Snake's Diecast, no, I do not. I love Robotech as a kid. I absolutely loved the robot / plane, whatever it is. Absolutely amazing. All right, so anyway, here we are. I still got like 22 minutes before we hit midnight. You guys know I like to go at least 3 hours. Is there anything this year that you would like to see from the channel? Either hopes, expectations, different lines, what you're thinking. I can write them down and we can come back at the end of the year and see who was right, who was wrong. But yeah. And Brian King, thank you very much. I take everyone's advice as long as they're they're cordial about things. But I don't like to surround myself with yes man. That's what a lot of other people do. And then I'm doing great. I want to improve on everything that I'm always doing. Or at least have a back and forth like, hey, you know what? I don't do that because of this. And someone might come back with me and go, hey, but hold on. If you do this, maybe it'll be better. So, Chaz the Guru is showing up. I showed some of your pictures earlier of the Target figures. I still not see in any of your pictures the Target Dr. Mindbender and Trouble Bubble. You need to wear headphones and have a young boy on with headphones. No, that's not going to happen. Maybe I can get Roman to wear headphones. I got to see here. He's not here right now. He's with my daughter. If I could get Roman to wear headphones and sit here, that would be awesome. I don't think he's going to do that. I like this. Now, it would be like $150 because they overcharged. So are you predicting that Super 7 will come out with an O-ring brainwave scanner? I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write down Viper Scout. You better still be around at the end of this year, right? Super 7 O-ring brainwave scanner. I love that. I know they want to do things that have never been done before, and I absolutely love that idea right there. Okay, so maybe in 2024, add chapters to the toy review so we know where the articulation portion starts and ends. That is very interesting. I have to look in to see how you do chapters. I know not everyone, a lot of people do it. I don't think it's all that different. Difficult. It's not all that difficult. So that's something I could look into for sure. as long as it doesn't take up too much time. I mean, so much of my time is already in this chair doing reviews, and I think it should. I mean, I say it's gonna. The load is going to lighten, maybe with classified, but you still have. I mean, I think when Monster Force starts pumping out these figures, it's going to be absolutely crazy. Johnny Reno, just a heads up to anyone ordering from Gridiron right now, they're in the middle of transitioning to the new shop, so shipping is going to be behind on products. Well, then you should just go get me some and just ship it out. That would make it a lot easier. Be a lot cheaper too. I wish Articulated Icons would re-release their ninjas. Cannot have enough ninjas. Well, did you order like? You don't have Ollie's by you, right? You can buy all those hand ninjas. Matthew, where the fuck are the skeletons? They can't finish producing. They can't finish producing an Ninja Scroll that may or may not ever come out. Their communication sucks. Does that make you wonder if that's the reason why Veebs and Robo left? I always thought the Veebs and Robo were the Foosh. Little did I realize that Foosh is something completely different, right? I think that's the reason why they left, to be honest. I know you hammered them all the time, and then when you find out that it's not even their company, it kind of gives you an idea, like maybe that's the reason why they didn't answer it. Kind of like me hung out to dry, how the Hasbro team or the Joe team is hung out to dry with, hey, Hoodie Cobra Commander, and they can't answer it. But yeah. It says my prediction has that. Now I love that idea. I think you're wrong. I'm gonna write it down. So Ed says tactical battle platform. I said that would be awesome. Because you could do it as a small little table, right? So now it's its own little piece. It's its own little table. It stands by itself. You don't need to find something to put it on. Make it stand so high. And you could also have my 3D printed one is very large. So maybe they can scale down the Skyhawk as one of the tiers. It goes on top there. And then you can have a devilfish that could go on the side of it. And because it's going to be up, you can make it seem like it's in water. So it just have like a piece that hung right over it and just sits right there. But yeah, I am partly Italian. I am not from New York. I'm from Detroit. And no, I'm not from actually Detroit. I'm from like 8 miles out of Detroit. And no, I'm not from 8 Mile. Well, I just made that really confusing. I'm looking through here. Eric Thurman says it says if rock and roll was complete garbage. I'm not really sure what did I miss. Is there something going on? Well, I think so. So Liquid. So Super 7, they've already said they want to produce vehicles and stuff that's never been produced before. I was watching an episode the other day, and there was a water vehicle that was similar to the water moccasin. It's actually the one that you're introduced to Shipwreck. I think it's the one you're introduced to Shipwreck. And I'm like, oh, that'd be interesting. Then there's a Shipwreck little sand thing that he does there. Yes. Yes. No, I am in Mount Clemens. So I am where I live off 16. Well, I used to live off 16 Mile. If you know where the jail is, the Mount Clemens prison, I'm right around there. I grew up on 16 in Groesbeck, which 16 Mile becomes Big Beaver Road. And yes, as I've said before, and Big Bacon can attest to this, the Big Bacon 75, I'm sorry, the Big Bacon, the Big Beaver, the Big Beaver Big Beaver 75 entrance is Big Beaver exit 69. So if you've ever seen that meme where it shows like Big Beaver exit 69, that is not fake. That is real. I see it almost every single day that I'm working. It is right by my work. Big Bacon can attest to it. It is a real oh, sorry. You were making a beaver joke. Well, can't say that because I actually might live right off Big Beaver. But yeah. Anyway, Ed, I hate you. Yes, Ed, but I hate you now. All right, I might take away your. Nice beaver. If you don't know where that's from, you can leave the channel right now. The only thing that I hate about the Naked Gun movies is, goddamn, O.J. Simpson was fucking just, he was amazing in it, and the fact that the guy's a fucking double murderer just pisses me off that I have to like something that an asshole was in. And it's looking like Michigan is probably going to play Washington in the national championship next week. So it's going to be fun. Ken and myself going against each other because he said his dad went to Washington, and that's why he knows college football. So, of course, I don't know where Ken is. Probably doing another stream talking about his Delta 17 and how I have more views than him. So, anyway, yeah, I don't. Okay, yeah, it's not allegedly. Yeah, well, I refuse to say that because we all know that he did it. I mean, dude, did he do a book? If I killed them, or like, what was it? If I killed Nicole Brown Simpson or something like that. Like, dude, like that guy. You gotta be kidding me. Anyway, nothing like a nice warm beaver on a cold Michigan day. I'm with you 100%. Oh, wow. Okay, well, we'll say Nordberg is a double murderer. How about that? Is that better? Nordberg is a double murderer who was able to get off, yet for some odd reason he kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and Nordberg ended up in prison for taking back his his own possessions, which is just that's irony, right? Not that stupid song Isn't It Ironic from what the hell was her name? She was a Canadian. You know, that song Isn't It Ironic? Nothing was ironic. Everything was bad luck. Yes, his trophies. Ooh, any predictions on giveaways for 2024? No, I do not have any predictions yet. I will say this. I will do my best when I do another Black Friday giveaway, which that's far away, that it will be something unique. just like it did this year, and just like it did the year before. The first time that I did it, that was my first one. That was the 3D printed Mafex. I don't think I ever want to. Matthew. Oh man. So anyway, yeah, I will try and do something. And again, I have to say, I believe he's probably still in the chat. Johnny Reno, thank you very much. Absolutely love the fact. Listen, more customs. Listen, you guys want to do more custom giveaways? Hey, I need someone to offer me customs to do giveaways. I don't do custom giveaways, and I guarantee you that if I did do a custom for a giveaway, there would not be 64 people watching, 65 people watching right now. Then I'll be like, yeah, you know what? We're just gonna, hold off, right? We're just gonna hold off for a bit, and yeah. So, yeah. Yes, the irony is writing a song called "Ironic" that isn't ironic. You're absolutely right. What the hell's her name? Someone tell me what her name is. I did not say send me customs. I did not say that. Tony said more customs for giveaways, right? I'm assuming this. And I said, and I didn't even say someone give me customs. Someone has to let me know that they have a custom that they might be interested in. That. Yes, Alanis. Alanis Morissette. Yes, it never dawned on me because you were a kid, right? It was a comedian, I think. I forget who it was. It was talking about how nothing in that is ironic. That whole song, it's just bad luck. And then when you read the lyrics and you listen to it, you're like, yep, nothing was ironic. It was all just bad fucking luck. Well, too many spoons when all you need is a fork or something like that. Like that's just bad fucking luck. Should have been called "Isn't Fucked Up." Anyway, yeah, I don't have any ideas. I haven't really even thought about any giveaways. I will say this: when I do try and do a giveaway, I like to do something that is a little bit more unique than just running over to Ollie's or Ross. I don't have a Ross, but going there and getting something like that. If I would have been able to get one of those $15 Viper 3-packs, I probably would have given that away because, that's a pretty decent giveaway. To be honest. But I like the idea of doing customs, and I will make sure that whatever I do for Black Friday giveaway will be something that you can't just go get anywhere. That is for sure. But yeah, I would love to do. I'd love to do a few more giveaways. It's such a good way to interact with people. I think I interact very well with you guys. But to get new people to show up, and we still haven't really got a run where we got to eliminate people, eliminate names. That's what I absolutely love to do because I think it's fun. Yeah. So I will not be. I will not be doing a giveaway for my Dragonfly when I get it. There's a very, very nice try of you. But yeah. Anyway, that is 3 hours, guys. Sometimes they go really smooth. Hey, listen, if Michigan would have lost, this whole stream would have felt way different. You know what? I did give away retro carded Snake Eyes, but I didn't do it as a raffle. So, um, uh, you know what? I think it really sucks that everyone wasn't able to get that figure. They weren't able to get Zartan, Storm Shadow. A matter of fact, Greg, my 3D printer, he was just in, and he just, I think it was yesterday, or the day before, he posted that at our Walmart, they had like 2 or 4 of the retro Crimson Guard marked down to like $18. And it's like most people haven't even seen it. So but yeah, just kind of crazy there. I'm just kind of reading through some of these comments. Yes, the retro card Snake Eyes is again. It is my classified of the year. I also want to mention this. So someone posted on my video, and he said no chuckles, no chuckles. Every Snake Eyes is boring. And I was like, hey, you know what? Everyone's entitled to their opinion, you know. And then he replied and said, redo it again and put chuckles in your top 5, and I'll have respect for you. And I'm thinking, if I redid something to put someone's figure in of their top 5 that they like, why would anyone respect my opinion? Wouldn't that mean me just being the sheep like so many of us complain that we don't like? So I'm actually I kind of laugh when some people tell me that my top 10 is wrong. I'm not really sure how my opinion can be wrong when it comes to what I like. I tell people that the music they listen to sucks, and people get offended, and I'll say, hey, I don't care. And they'll say, what if I tell you punk sucks? And I'll say, okay, I don't give a shit. Doesn't change the fact that I enjoy it. So people coming in and telling me that my opinion was wrong on my top 10 is very comical, because it's what my opinion is. If you don't like it, okay, go do your own top 10. Have fun. I don't care. Someone said you had Torpedo over Eel, and I said, yep. Like, essentially it's the same figure, except one comes with a submachine gun and one doesn't. And why are you asking? It's right there. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. I like Torpedo more than Eel. It was only one above it. It's not like, so. Will says, Punk was the only one to give enough love to the retro Storm Shadow. That figure was awesome. You know what? I even had Bobby B say, you know what? I forgot how good that figure is, but it's so much like the original. I have Matthew tell me I had to make mods to it. Well, that's you. You feel you have to make mods to everything. But my thing is, that figure sat there. And I think in the review, I might have even said that I don't think that there is enough for this figure, if you have the original classified, to get this if you don't have to be a completist. But the more I looked at it, the more I messed around with it, the more that he went with Commando Snake Eyes, I'm just like, these two deserve 1 and 2. And kind of what I said to Bobby was like, Storm Shadow is essentially almost the exact same as last year, and he was my number 1 figure. That's like saying Michael Jordan doesn't deserve the MVP. I know he doesn't play anymore. He doesn't deserve the MVP because he won it last year. But that's not true. Like, he's still just as good, right? Ed, I kind of, yes, Torpedo is better because he's got a huge nose that can double as a shark fin when he backflows. But yeah, so it's just one of those things. So it's like, it's my opinion. You can have your own opinion. Like, again, where is it? Would say James Lucas says, I love Chuckles. It's funny, like, you love Chuckles, but I didn't see you come into the review and be like, oh my God, you didn't have Chuckles on here. It's one thing when someone comes with a back and forth, and it's someone that I don't even know who they are. So it's like, all right, so you're coming in here telling me that I'm wrong, which is very comical. But yeah, so it's so funny what people will do. But listen, if you sit here doing this, whether you live stream, whether you do videos, you better have some thick skin because people are going to attack you. And as your channel grows, as your popularity grows, that is exactly what's going to happen. And some people are too thin skinned. They think they can handle it for a while, and then it eventually will. They'll blow up. I was gonna say they'll erupt, but then I know someone will say something. It'll be like me on steroids all the time. Except for I know when to laugh about it. I wouldn't know I can't get my hand on a classified EO. Lenny hit War Chest calling in a night, my brother. They plan to head to Aldi in the morning. We're on a mission to collect quarters from shopping carts to fund our action figure hustle. All right, first off, that made me laugh because a lot of people don't have Aldi's and they don't know what the hell you're talking about, or they don't go to Aldi's. That makes me laugh. Anytime, especially with my daughter, if there's one shopping cart there, I always can get the quarter. I ain't gonna lie. Because you gotta have extra quarters because eventually you're gonna lose one. But yeah, I love that. Anyway, have a good night. Thank you very much. We're gonna be getting out of here real soon. Anyway, like I said, I don't want to run too long. Yeah, exactly. I didn't have chuckles on your list, you monster. And you know what? I actually said on a Toy Kind of Mood when someone had it on there that I didn't want chuckles. It actually was what started Spec to jump in and tell me that I'm all negative, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, I didn't really wasn't negative. I thought I didn't want chuckles. I thought the face looked bad, and both face sculpts looked bad, and I have no connection to Chuckles. I don't even like Chuckles really. I never cared for him as a character. Like I didn't want him, and I got that figure, and he was better than I thought. And it was the exact opposite opinion of Beast Battleground. He said that it was worse than he really wanted it. And it was like, hey, I actually think it was better than what a lot of people thought it was. I was very pleasantly surprised with it. So it's just kind of funny how that works. So James, I don't give a shit if you don't like Chuckles. I do. Yeah, thank you very much. And that's how it should be. It's like, it's my opinion. Like, you don't have to watch my top 10. I appreciate everyone that does. That video took, honest to God, that video took so much longer than I thought it was going to. When you stand them and you don't just like show someone else's like picture of them, you stand it, and then I did like multiple shots of each figure. I think I did 3 shots for each figure. And this new turntable that I got, because my old one was making so much noise, I ordered this other one, and it has like different mats for different color. The problem is the mat is a little bit longer, a little bit wider than the actual turntable. Let me show you. So the mat's a little bit bigger than this, but this is felt. You know how hard it is to stand a figure on felt as it's turning? And there's like a lip here, and if you put the cover on it, it hangs off. It's like this, it's soft. So I'm like, let's see if I can make the felt work, but I think the felt's gonna get dirty, so I'll probably be sending it back to Amazon. It's just fucking stupid, but it's quiet, so that's good. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much for joining. Again, first stream of the year. Next week is gonna be interesting. I plan on doing it. I might change my mind as they get closer, but for the most part, I will probably be here. You're gonna watch a complete fucking psycho watching the Michigan game if I do it. I'm just gonna say that right now. You guys will probably be looking at me going, what the hell? There's something on the screen that's been there for 10 fucking minutes, and the guy hasn't even said anything to us. But yeah, and Tony here quickly. Yeah, I had tons of fun on a Toy Kind of Mood show. Shout out to Baldy, Bobby B, and Punk for being on the show. No. Listen, Tony is part of my guys. We jumped on a Toy Kind of Mood, give them a little bump on everything. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you very much. I will be back next week. Who am I kidding? I will fucking be on here. You guys will get to watch what a crazed asshole I am when it comes to watching football. So, and it's the national championship. Michigan hasn't won the national championship since 1998. And did you know that Tom Brady was not the quarterback for that? Anyway, have a good night.